Yes, good people, big up to all of you, and welcome back at the Chess Perspective for another match review show. We won. That's all that matters. It was never going to be easy. A lot of people, the old heads on the panel during the pregame show, noted clearly that it was going to be a difficult one. Never easy to play there. The pitch is smaller. They argued and all that, and it turns out, yeah, we did our best, but yet at one point they were on us, and I was thinking it's looking like we're gonna lose this one, but I think we did well enough to end the game with a victory, and I'm very happy. So keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. I appreciate you all finding the time to join the show. Let's say hello to a few people we have in the chat already. We have the hist, the gist, the dot, Scott. Poch, nice to see you, Michi. I hope you're doing well. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. And if you're in the chat, if you haven't, go check out Michi Boy's YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe and let him know I sent you. It looks like once again we have about a lot more people following the show on Facebook. If that's the case, if you're following the show on Facebook, we'll urge you to come subscribe to the YouTube channel, to our YouTube channel. That way you get a chance to win at least $50 if you're a student whenever we do a giveaway. But that's by the way. Let's move on. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way, and we have Constantine in the house, even though I don't like you, but that's for you, brother. Much love. I appreciate all your support. And Bobby there in the house also. And we have Obi is in the house. I appreciate you finding the time to join. Punch out. I cannot take this anymore. I don't see anything that happened today that I will blame on him, in my opinion, but you are entitled to your opinion. Why would he sub Enzo on when we all know he's injured? Maybe he's fit to play. Maybe he just wanted to because Enzo, if you could say this, we're not able to control the game, and that's something Enzo is capable of doing. But still, it didn't look like it worked. On my no style, and let's see what else we have here. Poch is not helping me out in defending him any further. What did he do wrong? I'd like you to elaborate. Which did he not? Why did he not start in Kunku? I would have started in Kunku if I were the manager, but I am not the manager. Obviously, Uncle Justice, welcome to the final. Much appreciated. So Bobby, let's hear you. You joined first before Jester. Jester was the last person to join actually. Your observations from the game with a minute or two because we don't have too much time. But let's hear you, Bobby.
Hey, big up, coach. I mean, first
Big
of
up to you
all,
too.
I've got to say, I'm absolutely bemused. You know, if you go
Mhm.
to all these spaces, people are complaining and bitching as if the game was lost. You know, this was a fight. You know, what I took out of this was how can these boys go to a place where you have to fight for the right to play? They did that for 75 minutes. They played, they went 3-0 up. But when you have the referee helping Luton, who, as far as I'm concerned, I don't subscribe to all this, oh, you know, they work hard and all that. They are a dirty side. They were raking
Mhm.
people, kicking people. You know, I can understand you using your physicality, but when you're dirty, it's not acceptable. There's a player that should have been sent off. Gusto was sent off for less. That spike on the Achilles of Jackson, who played well towards the end, by the way. That towards on the Achilles of Jackson was a red card. But the media support all this nonsense. They try and label it as, oh, the blood and thunder of the English game. No, this is the embarrassment of the English game. But that aside, you know, it was a fight. We know what happens when we go to these places. Could we live up to it? Yes. There were several players that covered themselves with glory. You can see why Nkunku did not start this game, and I'm glad. I wish he didn't even come on because he doesn't know how to deal with the fight. You know, it was totally alien to him. Enzo as well, embarrassing. He can't deal with that sort of football. They struggle with it. Silva at the end, if you saw pictures of him, how he looked quite angry. He saw what was going on there. A lot of decisions just going over and over against Chelsea. But hey, look, I don't want to focus too much on that. I want to focus on performances. I think Chelsea have found their number one goalkeeper. Petrovic is it. I used this game to see what he was about. He's good guy. I wanted to know if he can come out and claim crosses. He does that. His ball distribution is far more assured than Sanchez, and I think he's the number one at the moment. I think you can't just shift him now because he's playing better than Sanchez was before Sanchez was even injured. Look, this was really interesting. I think Jackson grew into the game. The excellent goal by Palmer could not be taken away from Jackson. He fought for that ball. He won that ball. He laid on the pass, and of course, Palmer did the most difficult part. That was to score because he really had a lot to do when he had the ball. I'm pleased. I'm pleased. These are the games
Right.
that you need to win, and I think we did well today.
All right, I will come back to you. We'll give those in the chat the microphone. As I've always said, let Jackson be Jackson. He's everything but a number 9. It looks like we're learning that. Madueke was tired since 16 minutes. Mudryk could have come on for him. Broya is not contributing anything to our game at all. Why bring him on? I don't know. I wouldn't say he's not contributing anything. He's still a bit rusty, but I think he will get there. We still cannot defend set piece. That's an issue, obviously. I had already started crying. Let's see what else we have here. They really pressed us. I was afraid. They did well. A lot of the old heads in here, experienced heads, for lack of a better language, knew it was going to be difficult. I think Arsenal considered 2 goals too. I think it's the same result. Arsenal beat them 3-2 at home. Good experience for the boys. Yep, I take it. And Constantine Dante, nice to see you, brother. Uncle Justice in 2 places in the chat and on the panel. I thought he was going to say you got to fight for your right to party. Let's see. Hello, everyone, again. Let's see what else we have here. I hate this nonsense positivity. How can you watch that game and be happy? I'm happy we won. It's you have every right to hate how I feel about the game or how anybody else feels about the game. We won. We could have lost. If you don't know, and well said. And chances that those players that were on the bench that were clamoring for the manager to bring on, chances that they weren't fully fit. It's just the manager having them on the bench in case things go down south. Then he just forced them to come because we would have no option than to use them. Enzo came back. Makes me.
Don't let me answer that statement, or
Just don't
I'm
worry.
going to hurt
Let me.
some feelings here.
Happy for the twins. Nice to see you again, Steve. It's been like 1,000 years since you've been on the show here, but nice to see you again, brother. Greetings, all Chelsea fans. Greetings to you too. Poch game management is horrendous. Okay, we'll hear from the others. Supporting Chelsea isn't good for your health. Wow. If Nkunku started, we would have scored a lot. That's just you speaking. Thinking that would have been the case. It's a shocking the goals we considered from set piece needed to sort out. We'll talk about that. Big up to you too, Santiago. I appreciate you finding the time to join. Let me come to you. I think there's a lot to get here, and I can't get everything at the same time. Let's come to you, Jude. The panelists will speak, and every now and then I'll get a chance to give those in the chat the microphone. You were the second to join on the panel. Your observations, what do you think? Take a minute or two because we don't have too much time.
Yeah, good morning, everyone.
Big up to you too.
Thank you. First of all, I want to say congratulations for the win. It was a game you watched. We almost developed heart attack, but the ultimate thing, the ultimate goal is 3 points, and we got it. So it didn't come easy. I would just want to say that sometimes we do not pay attention to some people doing a good job. Thiago Silva was very excellent today. Even at the 70th minute, the commentator said he knows goal scorers will always make the headline, but that for him, Thiago Silva was the spine of the defense. And
Yep, some important clearances that could have led to us conceding goals.
Yes, and it was good to see Jackson coming to help the back line too. He towards the end of the game, he made a save. He made a clearance that would have resulted into a goal. And the young man, Gilchrist, gave me some hope today with that late minute tackle towards the end of the game. He did it. It was a clean one. He didn't concede a foul. It was a very tough game, and I wasn't really expecting it to be very easy, considering how Luton has been all the while. So I'm happy for the win. I didn't expect it to be easy. They have a stadium where most big teams come there to struggle because of the size of the stadium. And So it looks like a secondary school pitch. But above all, I'm happy for the win. But we have a lot to do, a lot of work to do. Fortunate to step up his game, his tactical prowess, and everything. He needs some tactical consistency. I'm still not. I'm still not impressed by what he's doing yet. But I know he's trying to get things in order. But the earlier he can get himself together, the better. Just like the way the players are not consistent on the pitch, Coach is also not consistent tactically. I'll just express it at that for now.
Mhm. And just quickly, Arsenal beat them 4-3. They've been very difficult at home. Manchester beat them 2-1. They can defend very well and can also score goals. But that's, by the way, Poch mismanagement has improved. Coach, your opinion? I wouldn't. Here's the thing. I'm not judging Poch yet. He's not been perfect, and but I don't want to get into that until we have everybody fit and available for selection. That's when I'll start judging him. Because if you say he's been inconsistent in terms of selection, or he's been chopping and changing, then I'll remind you how many players we've had out injured. Do I think we can do better than Poch? Yes, but right now, I think he's the right man for the job, and there's no need to fire him right now. But we didn't talk about that. And Santia
I
Gold,
didn't say
that's another new
because
name there. Mudrik, that's injured. Jude, were you still speaking?
no, I was saying that I wasn't saying he was incontent in selection. I was
No, I
saying
wasn't
that
referencing what you said actually.
all right.
That's what will come to mind when you say such. I understand. Mudrik, don't play Nkunku as a striker again. Let's see what else we have here. Poch is an inconsistent manager. Poor in-game management. Man will never win an EPL title with the way he manages his team. Wow. Okay, some argument right there. Petrovic, my number one. A big up, coach. Big up to you too, Tommy Bryan. Nice to see you in the panel. Madueke, I could have stopped the first goal. Poch game management. I choose not to speak. Okay, we'll hear from everybody today. Let's see. To become a Chelsea best player, according to the fans, you just have to run around like wow, endless chicken and make lots of tacos. I know where you're going with that, but I have my opinion, and you're entitled to yours. Let's see, Adriel. Okay, I'm having a conversation there. And happy we won, but need to manage game better. At end, it's pretty obvious that they were going to do. We did well, better than I actually thought we'd do. Yes, I will solve network issues soon. Okay, I hope to see you more often soon. Thank God we scored 3 goals. Why can't we defend the crosses and set piece? For me, for multitude of reasons, the midfield didn't do much to protect the defense also. But the goals we considered weren't, you can say you can't blame the midfielders for that. Guys, please, yeah, we won. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes to go a long way. Let's see anything else. Yeah, Gilcrease hype. I hope he gets a chance. I've seen more today. Uncle Justice, let's come to you. Your observations from the game. Are you happy we won? Or you still you're one of those that have more that you're concerned about than just accepting that we won? But let's hear you. You have the floor.
Yeah, look, I've always said that I'd rather win ugly than lose beautiful. I mean, that's the goal of the game is to come out with 3 points. We did that, so check that off the list. But there are concerning things. We never got control of that game, and that comes from the midfield. Sorry, but Conor Gallagher is not good, and y'all can keep hyping that kid for all the runs he makes and all the stuff he does, but he is not a good player. And you know that because we never had control of the midfield today. And who was in the midfield? Conor Gallagher. You know what you're going to get from Caicedo. He's supposed to break up play. He's not going to build up.
Who do you want to play
Bobby, can
instead
you
of
let him
Conor
drop,
Gallagher?
please? Let him drop.
No,
You get your chance. Let him drop.
We need to have it specific. It's all very well to attack someone, but who do you want? This is what we have. You know, all this Conor is not good. Conor, he's the best we have, especially at the moment.
Go ahead, Justice.
Well, that is not true. That is not a true statement. So when you want to put out factually inaccurate statements, that's fine. But I can't respond to that because that's not even true. If you look at our roster, Conor Gallagher does not have the talent of half the people on that roster. He's a tryhard, and y'all need to get away from the tryhards. This game is about tactics and being in the right positions and playing with your teammates, not running around like a headless chicken and doing nothing for your team. We struggled to control the midfield today because Caicedo is not somebody who's ever going to control the midfield. We knew that when we purchased him. And the person sitting next to him, it won't ever control the midfield either in Conor Gallagher. So, yes, you can put it down to we had to start these people because there's injuries. But y'all need to come to the realization that Conor Gallagher is not good enough to be at Chelsea Football Club in the midfield, starting week in and week out. That is just not a realistic thing. And as soon as y'all come to that realization that he is not good enough, I know y'all will move out on to Alfie Gilchrist. That's already happened. But this has to stop. This is Chelsea Football Club, not Cobham Academy Club. Enough is enough.
Yes.
So,
yeah, go ahead. Sorry, you were still
so other
speaking.
than that, the only other problem I had is the substitutions were not correct and they came too late. You could tell that both Connor and Caicedo were both shattered in that midfield. So you got to do something to change that up. But you did nothing, Poch. You sat on your hands until the game was at risk. And then you started making
Right.
subs.
Here's my argument about Conor Gallagher. Roger, okay, were you still speaking? Were you still speaking?
Go
Justice?
ahead.
Were you still
Go
speaking?
ahead. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I didn't know you were still speaking. It looks like my
No, I'm
connection is
done. I'm
acting
done.
up, but you go ahead if you were still talking. Your overall observations from the game.
Yeah, I'm done talking.
Oh, okay, I didn't know. Okay, Luton scored Man City, forced City managed a 2-1 win. It's a difficult place to go and get a win. If we're being honest here, I'll take the win, but it wasn't perfect, but I'll take the win more importantly. Good win, coach. That's how I see it too, Joshua Dan. Let's see what else we have here. It looks like it's one of those days my internet connection is acting up. They drew Liverpool 1-1 at home too, so it's a difficult place. But that's not to say we must not talk about the issues that we observed today. Andrew, wisdom. Okay, you're having a conversation there, so enjoy it. Let's see what else we have here. Silva was great, mostly, but he was a beat loss on their go too. Yep, I think lack of proper communication between him and Axel Disasi. That's my observation. Maybe when I watch it again, I'll see things differently. Luton beat Newcastle too. Their difficult side actually to beat 100% from Cole Palmer. He was excellent. Noni Madueke also did well. His job. We've always known that if we have to beat teams that when they defend deep, or even though Luton came at us, they didn't defend deep all the time, but Madueke did well. They've been good lately. They have. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go along with Gala. Was washed by the end. He had nothing left in the last 15 minutes. Probably tired at the time, but. Yes, then I'm not going to get into the argument of how good he is or not. You know me too well. You know my opinion of him, and all of you know that I always tell you he's not my best player at Chelsea right now. He's not even. He's also not the worst. But if you follow the manager selection process, how important he's been to the manager, we have to respect that. And what he's done, well, you could argue the bar is that low. That he's emerging as our top players, one of our top performers, and numbers don't lie. Poch really is a fraud. He took the first part of my advice by finishing off the game. But what about the defending? I'm not sure who to blame right now. I'd rather take 3 points than nothing. Who cares if we played well or not? We played well in most of the games that we've lost and end up losing those games in particular. So I'll take this. Every time Luton passed to the left, the Sassi kept taking the ball, and it was over 7 times they did it. So embarrassing. Wow, that's some. You paid attention there. So I'm going to get a few other comments there and scroll to the very bottom so we can hear Roger tell us talk about his observations from the game. And we have DJs. Big up to you, DJ. You have to teach me how to be a better DJ. What's going on here? Okay. Unfortunately, that's Constantine Dante there. Unfortunately for this game, there was no others to come on. I would like to have a midfielder from the academy on the bench to take Gallagher off. Last 15 minutes, he has nothing to offer. Probably got tired at the time. That's my argument right now. Okay, yeah, Peter Pan thinks Gallagher isn't good enough. Okay, you're entitled to your opinion, and that's why we're here to have a conversation here. Let's see what else we have. Nkunku 2. Let's see. If you don't see the work Gallagher is doing, then you don't watch football. Look, we all see things differently. Big up Kachula and the stream. Good win. We got over the line. However, we made it difficult for ourselves. Self-destruction, maybe. Petrovic, excellent in goal. What a goalkeeper he's turning out to be. I like him so much, honestly. How calm he's on the ball, his distribution and all that. He maybe we'll find out if we'll become the number one. Silva and Palmer are superb. You say good performance from a lot of us here. The Prince is here. Big up, Prince. Big up, everyone. It's been a while. I wanted to ask, what do you think about Poch's game management? I'm not going to say much about that. I'll have others talk about that. I think he's not been perfect, but today there isn't much he could have done differently, in my opinion. Maybe I need to watch it again. Let's see, Constantine Dante here saying, let's see what he has to say there. It's not a coincidence. A lot of people think a Poch game management can be poor. I've heard that before, and I've seen occasions where he made changes that I didn't like at all, questionable changes. But this one, I have to take my time to look at the game again. Big up everyone. We still managed to make life more complicated as usual. Now, coach, we bottled it. We need 3 goals to win the game. Here's the thing. Arsenal beat them 4-3. Man City beat them 2-1. They actually scored before Man City equalized and won. So it's a difficult place. So just take it. I'm not asking too much. I don't care how ugly it was. Poch neatly bottled it with the questionable subs. Glad we didn't see Sterling, but disappointed Jackson played a full 90 minutes. Jackson actually did well. He got 1 assist and did a lot of good, in my opinion. From start to finish, in my opinion, he was good. Next game, Jackson should be dropped so he does not get injured. That foul, Jackson too. Is that your excuse? Let's hear you, Roger. Your observations from the game. Let's hear from you.
Hello, gentlemen. Yeah, I want to talk about
You there,
Petrovic
Roger?
initially.
Or is your mic broken?
Can you hear me? Coach, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, so I want to talk about Petrovic initially.
I can hear you.
And then I can talk about or talk about what transpired in more detail. I thought Petrovic exhibited a good display yet again. The more I see him on a weekly basis, the more I'm impressed with him, considering the youth of him. I thought he acquitted himself.
From what you see so far, just quickly, would you say he's a better goalkeeper than Sanchez?
Yeah, it's only 4 games, coach, but I would have to say, based on the 4 games thus far, he seems more composed on the ball, undoubtedly so. He doesn't invite pressure when he receives the ball. He either, with 0 touches, gets rid of the ball, just a 1-touch pass away, or he'll trap it, and he doesn't ponder on the ball. He also knows when to actually clear the lines, and that's reassuring. He shows a lot of maturity in that regard. He's technically better than Sanchez also. I thought the way he claimed balls today, he did rather well. Listen, it's a somewhat poor conditions. It's a windy place also. I thought he did well. I don't think you can blame any of the goals on him per se. I thought defensively we had issues, especially in allowing crosses in. But for the most part, I'm really pleased with Petrovic. With regards to Uncle Jester, confirmation bias. Listen, I'll quote Daniel Patrick Moynihan till the day I die. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, but not their own facts. If you want to talk about midfield, then you're criticizing also Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle's midfield, because they did the same thing to them. So are you saying Man City's midfield is poor also? Arsenal's? etc. I could carry on. It's a tough game to play, you know. First of all, if you notice, a lot of the time, and I agree, midfield is a very important part. It's the engine generally, but guess what? It's the fact that we lost possession the majority of the time when we cleared our lines, and we were unable to retain possession from the forwards, not actually in the midfield. They weren't clearing the ball long to the midfield. They were clearing the ball past the halfway line. So this is where we invited pressure on ourselves, because Petrovic decided not to play deep because they were pressing. So this is an integral part of why we actually invited pressure on ourselves, not because of the midfield. You can criticize
and they pressed very well.
Yeah, you can criticize Gallagher about running like a headless chicken, and I quote you verbatim on that. But guess what? That was last year. He's not doing that this year. You know, you obviously have a bias against him. Listen, I criticize certain players, but I also accentuate their positives. I don't hear you accentuate the positives. You have seriously a confirmation bias. You have to be objective, and I find you lack objectivity, and I say that with all due respect. It's uncalled for. It really is. You know, yeah, is he a perfect player? No, far from it. Will he be receiving a Ballon d'Or award anytime soon? Of course not. He's a flawed player, just like virtually everyone on our team is. But he does have positive attributes, and you don't seem to acknowledge them, at least on a consistent basis. I think if once I watch the game a second and possibly a third time, I think you'll see that a lot of people, players, I'm talking about Chelsea, made errors and were also at fault. Listen, I thought the other thing that I wanted to state was the fact that we, yet again, and this is happening a lot, is the fact that we're conceding free kicks in dangerous areas. It's happening way too much, and I'm looking at it from a goalkeeper's perspective, and that's unacceptable. We need to be more disciplined, and I think that was 3 or 4 times at least, you know, just outside the box, and it's not good enough in my opinion. That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, and except for me, it's quite disturbing. Not disturbing really. It's expected because we have a very young squad, and kids will always be kids. We seem to struggle quite a lot to manage games. Because if we do know how to manage games, I don't know whether to say I have to blame the manager partly for that, but I think it comes down to the players we have on the pitch. We don't know how to manage games. We nearly gave away. You can say we nearly actually drew and could have lost had we drawn that game.
Well, Liverpool did draw with them, you know. I mean, and you're looking at the team that's at the top of the table. They drew with them. So does that mean they've got a bad
and actually
also?
had to beat them a 4-3, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I had to beat them 4-3, and they scored 4. But here's my point: we didn't even try to manage the game, let alone at the end, managing the game alone wasn't enough. But if you get my point, but go ahead if you were still speaking, Roger.
No, it's all about putting things into context. I think, you know, you look at other teams that I believe are better than Chelsea. Obviously, I'm stating the obvious here. You look at the Man Cities, the Liverpools, etc. They struggled. Liverpool bloody drew with them. What does that tell you? They're not an easy team. Listen, Bobby and I aren't exactly teenagers. You know, hate to tell you, we're not getting carded when we go buy a beer anymore. At least I'm not, anyway. And listen, we've seen it all before. This is it always has been, since I was knee high to a grasshopper. It's always been a very physical league. You know, some may say excessively so. You know, stick the boot in is, you know, back in the 70s and 80s, and even before, this has always been an exception.
Yep. No, you're right. I'm agreeing 100.
It's an exceptionally excessive physical game, and you know what? Luton are built that way. They stick the boot in. They're not exactly known as a finesse team, and they'll never be confused as such. And this is, I think, our manager alluded to that in his post-match interview. He said we have a lot of skilled players. I'm paraphrasing here, but we also have to play with intensity because of the physicality. And he alluded to that if you listen to his interview, and
they do what was for them.
Yeah, exactly. Because you know what, it's you could accuse us at times of being a finesse team, which is fine by me. I think to a certain extent, when you have players the size of Enzo, etc., that not exactly going to be drafted in the NBA, is he? But I think this is going to be an up and down season because of the youth of the team and obviously injuries we're receiving. But listen, you mentioned Nkunku. If I could just quickly mention him very briefly. I know I've spoken a lot, but Nkunku, I didn't have a problem with him not starting because, he's probably, he meaning Poch and the coaching staff. Don't forget it's a collective usually. They consult with the medical staff and they've probably gone through the statistics and said, we believe it's best for him, considering he's recovering, that he basically, from a serious knee injury too, that he basically, it'd be best off if he doesn't start. If at all, he'll come off the bench. And these decisions are made based on recommendations from medical staff. They do this in the NFL, the NBA, the Premier League. This is what happens. They get medical input on each player that is required. So, you have to contextualize that. I mean, I know you want him to play. So do I, trust me. But you have to basically understand that, you can't play every player, especially a couple of days apart, 3 days apart, when the player's just getting back. I honestly believe that I don't think he would have started the previous game against Palace had Sterling and Palmer not been suspended. So I think the ramifications from that game is probably taking its toll also, if that makes sense. I just wanted to address that, Coach.
Yeah, so I'll come back. We'll continue looking at what transpired during the game. Cole Palmer's goal, Noni Madueke's goal. And Heston, the Blue TV game is saying that Gallagher is Poch's cousin. They both play it too safe, even when there's no danger, no dynamism, imagination, or foresight. That's why he likes him. Heston, even if you think it's not good enough, tell me what else the manager could have done. That's a question I'd like you to answer, and answer sincerely. What about 2 goals we took and the pressure on the ending? I'm not sure. Maybe you need to refresh that. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. Petrovic did well, really, really well. That close range header, it was a miraculous save, in my opinion. That was a brilliant save from him. And yeah, he's looking like a better goalkeeper than Sanchez
Great
right
reflexes.
now. But like Roger said, it's just a few games. Sorry?
Great reflexes also today.
Yeah, great reflexes too. Yeah, Sanchez should be dropped. I don't jump to that conclusion yet. It's just a few games. Let's see. Hi, guys. Congratulations to Chelsea, but Chelsea fans had to pray again for the team to hold on to the lead. Very poor with Houston. I get it. It's a very difficult place to go, but we didn't even try to manage the game, let alone us managing the game did not work, if that makes sense. It's a difficult place. Go check their results against the big boys. They know how to play dirty, and it has worked for them. And I don't blame them for doing whatever that's worked for them. And Albert W. Street, nice to see you, brother. Thank you. And that's your first time here. We've been friends on Twitter. We talk, but this is your first time on Chelsea Perspective. I appreciate you finding the time to join the show. And this is for you, brother. Much love to you. And he says, we take the 3 points, but we were shambolic in the last 15 minutes. Palmer is a star. I don't need glasses to see that, but thank you for reinforcing that. Sanchez would have panicked and started an earthquake. We'll see. He is better than Sanchez. Calm, good on the ball, and also good shot stopper. But here's the thing, let's be objective here. Let's have him play as many games as Sanchez has played for us, then we can compare. But the signs are good, and I'm glad we have them both. And you can argue his distribution, like Roger mentioned the other day, has been near excellent in my opinion, except that our attackers aren't good at, you can say, even when you find them with the ball that's not on the carpet, they're not good at, you can say, shielding the opposition and doing something good with the ball, for lack of a better way. If Petrovic doesn't see a pass, he will put it upfield into the stands. That's a tap in. I think Roger said that before. That's a tap in. Yep. And I like that. It's funny
Offside
how
too, by the way.
is always trying. Sorry?
Offside also, by the way.
Yeah. Exactly. I half of our fan base always find one or two of our youngsters to hate. First it was Mount. I'm not gonna go to the extent of talking about Mount right now. In my opinion, we won and nearly had heart attack in the game. But we won. Rich money makers. Nice to see you. I appreciate you joining. Just as Heston, he's entitled to his opinion. For me, listen, can we stop taking things personal here? If you're wrong, you're wrong. If you're right, you're right. Everything we say is our opinion, but those that are for Gallagher being our best player, the numbers are on your side. And I'm gonna say it again. It's not even my favorite player at Chelsea, but you have to.
Yeah, I'm not attacking anyone. I'm just trying to actually. I said it very cerebrally,
No, I'm not saying
politely.
you did that. I never said
I
you
know
did
you.
that.
I never said you said I did.
With regards to the comment on the screen, go ahead, Roger.
I'm just joking. I wanted to be articulate.
No, I'm not attacking you.
No, I know that.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to state it articulately and respectfully and politely about what he said. I respect Jester, but I believe in this instance, I believe confirmation bias is a little bit strong. That's all. That's all I'm alluding to, and I'm saying it in a respectful manner.
And he still hasn't
and I
answered
wasn't
who
actually
he
speaking
wants
about
to
you.
play.
Go ahead.
He still hasn't answered who he would choose to play ahead of Gallagher.
That's the question I actually put to you. Yeah. It's an important question. If you think Gallagher shouldn't be playing, who else should be playing? Especially now that we have Enzo was out, kind of Connie, Leslie out too. So I hasten. We have every right. If we all agree, we don't have a show. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Zidane, we should be playing Zidane. Obviously.
Go ahead, Roger, if you were still speaking.
Can you hear me? You seem to be having a problem hearing me.
Yeah, it looks like I have a poor connection. It looks like there's a bit of delay between us communicating. But go ahead with what you were saying.
Yeah, I was being facetious. I said we can play Zidane. You know, I don't know. We have no one. Enzo is just coming back. Yeah, you like it.
Maybe I can try to answer for yesterday.
Just hold on 1 second. Let me catch up with a bit of what we have in the chat, please. Just a few seconds. Like the video. Let's go, people. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. We have 29 likes. We should be doing better than that. Let's go. Let's get it to 40 likes. We have 40 plus people watching, but a few of those following the show on Facebook. It's not Gallagher's fault. Colwell and Jackson have photos of just go away. We are lucky we get the goals on time. But here's the thing, we won. Smash the like button, people, and also do subscribe to the channel. Let's keep going. We are at 18,138 subscribers. We can do better than that. Keep smashing the like button, says my brother DJ. Let's see what else we have here. Unacceptable from our defense. You could argue. I agree with you. I think we don't organize ourselves once we concede a set piece. We don't organize ourselves. We've talked about that 1,000 times. Roger is in the house, and he's in the house. And let's see what else we have here. Jesse already on the panel. Let's see. Keep dropping the likes on the stream. We didn't see the Liverpool game, only scoreline. So let us focus on this game. But there's a reason why we're referencing those games. The big boys struggled there too. Let's see what else we have here. And Constance is saying, yes, we don't know how to manage games. That's where I'm concerned. And today we didn't even try, let alone that we did try to manage the game and it didn't work. Coach is the most important coaching is the most important thing on young players to help with that. He should impact. Sorry?
Just as you said earlier, your game management is dependent on the players you have at your disposal to manage the game. It's a player thing more than a coach thing. Well, a coach thing, he puts on the players to manage the game. But if you don't have the players of that ilk and quality, you're not going to manage the game. I mean, Enzo came on and did nothing. It was a physical game. He was lost. Nkunku came on and he was lost. So what do you really expect from the manager? There's not much else he had on the bench. He brought on Gilchrist, and rightly so. But it was difficult with all these players out. It's very difficult.
Yeah,
I
I think
can
to
I
some
can add to that,
extent, I'd say
Coach.
you're actually overjudging the manager. Big up, Matt. Nice to see you here. I appreciate you finding the time to join, and this is for you. Go ahead, JC. Let's hear you.
Yeah, just quickly to add first a point on that. He brought on
Hello.
Nkunku and everything was going on like we were 3-0 up, and nobody expected like we will be under so much of a pressure. You can give that to Poch certainly. So he didn't make a defensive substitution, which normally any person would do. I mean, we were having a stroll in the park. 3-0, enjoy, give some goal, maybe even Kunku scores and lifts his confidence as well. So you can't blame game management. But once we conceded and then the second goal was coming, that's something you can still argue, like, okay, the defensive shape was not there. Enzo was playing something like 10. I mean, you have to stand on the line and tell the players, where is our defensive shape? Come on, calm down and have your defensive shape. You don't need to be attacking. We are just 10 minutes from the game, and just manage the minutes. But it was kind of a surprise. What I wanted to add little bit is and maybe Roger and you can, I it can certainly give maybe what I didn't hear totally what Jester said, but little bit. The agenda things should stop, really. Today was a game where we should not be discussing Gallagher. Did he have the worst performance? No. Did he have the best performance? No. What should we
Exactly.
be discussing? We should be discussing a fantastic goal by Palmer. Palmer is a real candidate for player of the season. Some would say Gallagher, but I personally would say like he is the revelation of the season so far. And what a lovely goal that was. Um, as for the first half, I still thought like we were lacking a midfield control. We were inviting pressure too much to our back the box, or you call whatever, and then having a quick transition and kind of a counter. They were pressing, yes, and they were having a similar shape like Newcastle did, like a lot of teams do, like they press with the high line, and we struggle to go out and control the midfield. Maybe it is the players, maybe it is like the shape we are, maybe this is the way Poch wants to play. But to be honest, like most of our possession was in our half, and most of the passes again after the first goal were sideways or back. We were inviting the pressure, and we hit them on the counter, and we scored second, we scored third. Fantastic, everything. And we considered through the set pieces or the crosses, and there was a lack of missing. So there are a lot of positives, but there's also like we can see that we still have the same problems. We still are conceding cheap goals on the crosses and we the team starts to panic once we concede one. Then suddenly everything is like the world is breaking apart, and even while being 3-0. So these guys need some confidence lift probably. But and that you can say is like also affects our game management. But I think we are lacking it, and that's what I want to give to Jester, is we are lacking a midfielder who controls the tempo of the game. We do not control the tempo of the game from the midfield. Caicedo had a very good game, but he was like either putting out fires or giving long passes, which were fantastic and very good tackles. And Gallagher was decent, okay, yes, and tired maybe, yes, but not in any time of the game I could see that we were controlling the game and the ball in the middle of the pitch. And that's what I agree with Jester on. Like we needed a control in the midfield.
JC, can I ask you though, did you not notice though, a lot of the time we didn't really, I'd have to watch it again, obviously, but I believe from what my initial impression was, we were losing possession because they were pressing up front where the goalkeeper cleared the lines, and we were not able to retain possession with the forwards. Did you
Which
not
you can
notice
also
that?
attribute to the fact we don't have midfielders who are able to beat the press. That's not me saying any player isn't good enough to play there or anything. Yeah, but go ahead.
But that's the goal. No, I disagree with that to a certain extent, but I understand what you're saying. But I'm saying,
Go ahead.
if you notice, it was the keeper that was clearing the ball time and time again because we didn't want to play short and get dispossessed
And get caught up.
Yes. So and then the ball is cleared long, and guess what? The ball
comes
is
back.
not. It is not kept. You know, you're looking at the forwards that lost the possession, not so much the midfield in the second half.
Yeah.
I'm talking about. I think that was also a factor, equally, if not more so. That's my
more so
contention.
actually.
We can add to
more
that
so.
what John Terry said the other day, and I totally, like, it was kind of a revelation for me how he said it in his tweet, and like something I learned from that. And John Terry said last week in the game is like, we are not winning our tackles and we are passing the ball back far too often, giving them the time to come get behind the ball.
Yes.
And get into shape and press us again. And our control in the midfield, we cannot tackle, we cannot hold the ball, we cannot. Our forwards, like, okay, Broya and Jackson did well actually, but he was like, this falling far too often, but he also had bad tackles. But this was same thing. Like, again, I said, like, we lacked control in the midfield. We are controlling it right at the back line and making cross like quick transitions and scoring goals. But we still are not, and our set pieces, like, end of the day, I mean, hire a set piece coach. I mean, come on. And if you can't do this, then hire somebody to do this for you.
We're
Because
getting beaten aerially time and time again. This has been our MO all season.
We just come across as if we're not able to organize ourselves. You always often see mismatch, and whenever we defend set piece, you see the shorter players marking the
final point.
That's actually the basics, in my opinion. But go ahead, JC.
One final thing. Like, if Jose Mourinho would be watching that last 10 minutes, he would call it a disgrace. He would say, like, there's no defensive shape. The team is not defending as a it's not defending as a team. Nkunku is up there. Enzo is somewhere other side. Caicedo is doing the hard job for everybody. Gallagher is tired, and then we are being overlapped on one flank or the other flank. And Gusto is on the left back now. He's being killed there constantly. I mean, there was no shape. Everything was being torn apart. And if Mourinho is, the double decker.
Wait, did you just speak French?
We lacked Obi Mikel. Like what he would do is send him, shut the shop, finish the game. We didn't do that. There was no defensive shape. And if there was Mourinho, he would say that was disgrace of a defending shape.
Yeah. Also, just one other thing briefly. The fact that we were allowing crosses coming from wide, that is disconcerting as a keeper. That's not good enough. That's just not good enough.
It was too easy.
Very.
Yeah.
Fundamentally speaking.
Here's my opinion. What Roger explained, part of it. We went one, for me, we weren't able to control the game. Two, what the goalkeeper was, what Petrovic did was effective because they were pressing very well and they were so organized that he had to go for the long balls. And it lands to them and they come back at us. Just give me a few seconds. Let's give those in the chat, the microphone there. Weatherman said, if the skies are clear, we should be able to see Cole Palmer with the naked eyes. Big up, ladies. Big up to you too. Glenn, nice to see you, brother. Here's for you also. I appreciate that one there. Let's see. Chimera also here is saying, let's see what else we have. If Newcastle United lose their next game, we should go up 7th. Fulham, January, but knowing this team, we ain't leaving a 10th position until April. I hope that's not the case. And Kinso is back in the house. It looks like he's found a girlfriend. His biggest problem is that he was searching and he told everybody, and it was JC that reminded me the other time, maybe he hasn't found one, but maybe you found one and too busy now not to be part of the shows we've had in the past. But Kim, so nice to see you. Didn't watch the game. Did we play well? We won. I'm going to leave it at that. I need to watch the game again. The Pluto for game is saying it's easy to judge Gallagher in isolation and conclude that his our best player, but I am using a comparison to our elites, then you not being objective here, judging based on what we have and not what we don't have right now. If that makes sense. And our elites and even players in our current rosters, if you go by the players in our current rosters, mix up your eye test on what you expect of him. I think you're probably judging him based solely on your expectations of him. But if you're being truthful, and I've seen you praise him before, I've seen you call him Gala dog as in DAUWG as days that he's done well. I'm not saying he's perfect, but right now we just cannot do otherwise. We don't have energy in that midfield, and when it's not playing, especially against a team like Luton Town, they will mop the floor with us. I get it, it's not been perfect, it's not been clean all the time, sometimes unnecessary fouls, but he's still very young. And I can assure you, I see him at Chelsea become more polished. Give him credit where it's due. I'm not saying he's the best player at Chelsea, and you know that quite well. But compare him with what we have now alone, not with the elites. Let's make do with what we have. Let's see. The game management issue is not of one concern. It's not a one of concern. We hardly can play for 90 minutes consistently, don't know how to tactically win fouls or slow the game down. This young team should be more energetic. More energetic they should be, but in terms of game management, I don't expect too much of them. And today we had two midfielders who, you can say, they're good. They did their beat, and which was what led to us winning. An excellent pass, actually, I won't forget, from Casado also. But those two aren't the best at beating the press. But you could say, in most cases, Roger nailed it because we hoofed the ball forward, given how well they pressed, which led to them coming back at us. You can't blame that on the midfielders, if we're being honest here. But chances are, had we tried to play out the back as usual, we'd lose this game. But and if you've been paying attention, the games we've won, most of them, we played poorly. Not all of them. We didn't play well in all of them. So I'll take this. It's progress, in my opinion. Winning can become a habit, as Adeba will tell you, as much as losing can also become a habit. Don't hold back, Roger. Keep going. Let's see what else you have. You keep dropping likes on the stream. Benjamin Sesko, I have heard, could be coming in on loan in January. Do stick with the Broya. Bearing in mind, Broya needs time. That's a good player, him, but he needs time. Sesko, if we're getting him, let's get him on a permanent. He's a good player. Coach, look at Pice is new to it. What does he say? I haven't seen it. On loan, you get him. That's a good idea. And Broya, the other way, but still, by Osimhen, and Nicholas Jackson will be leaving in January. And hate or love Jackson, he does a lot of good. And he got a good assist today. Did well, even though they were fouling him, he did well. And we can see why I've always been preaching, let Jackson be Jackson. He's everything but a number 9, in my opinion.
I agree.
Please, can we use stats that are actually real, not stats that were especially designed to make Gallagher look good, like Fabregas, Pilo, Makalele, and Kante? You know what? I think this is for you. You header, go away. Bobby, these are professional players, even though some young don't get to that level without knowing how to follow instructions, etc. Let's see. For those of you who love stars, we are the first club in the Premier League history to do the double over Luton. Apparently, that shows you. What does that tell you? They are a strong side. No jokes there. 20324 says, yes, thanks for the response. Game management depends on the players at not the managers at the manager's disposal. Another way to put it. But again, I would say one of our biggest problems is lack of our ability to manage games. Gallagher is a trooper, absolute unit of a midfielder, and isn't made of glass like his fellow midfielders. Start from there. Hardly gets injured. Start from there. Even though I'll tell you he's not my favorite Chelsea player, he's been holding it down since season started. Give Gallagher his flowers. Show him some respect. Let's see what else we have here. We are winning 2-0. We were winning 2-0 against Arsenal, and we ended up drawing that game. Game management also. You could blame the manager or the players, but let me just stick with game management until I figure out more. Now, bro, just go away. The commentators at my end said if Luton can put up a fight, they might get something out of that game, and they did. Yep, they did put up a fight, and the defense is sloppy, and fragile mentality makes it worse. Roger, let me ask you this question. Just 1 second. Let me get the comment from Phil Sims there. Big up everyone. Important win to keep up the end of the year. Yep, we ended the year. We end the year very well. We will have a long way to go when it comes to controlling the game. The same thing we have been saying here. But up the charts, we can only get better game by game. I agree with you, Roger. Let me ask you this question. The lack of game management thing. Let's talk about it. Whether anybody thinks it's the manager's fault or the player's fault, but I still think it's an issue. I get it. You explained something, like I said, you nailed it. We hoofed it forward a lot of times, and it worked. Because chances are, had we tried to play back play out from the back like we do usually, would concede from doing that. But let's hear you, Roger. How do we overcome that? It's a huge issue.
Yeah, listen, I think what's even more concerning is they score from an uncontested header from a corner. Why isn't there more emphasis and critique on that? That has nothing to do with midfield.
So who do you blame for that?
Listen, JC's right to a certain extent. Maybe we need to look into a set piece coach, because aerially, and I've been saying this for how long now, week in, week out, coach, we are inferior aerially. Especially going forward. We're usually pretty decent defensively aerially, but listen, I'm sorry, you get uncontested header from a flick on. It's not good enough. Just isn't. We should be getting to the ball first. That's unacceptable. Yeah, I'm being biased. I'm looking at it from a goalkeeper's perspective, but it's the truth, though. It really is.
But it's still an insight.
But listen,
it's an important insight right there.
That and the fact that they're able to cross the ball at will. I'll probably count how many crosses they had in this game when I watch it the next time. It was incredible how many crosses we allowed. That's unacceptable. We're not getting close enough, and yet and that's from Malo Gusto, who I consider a very good defensive player. Both sides, we were allowing crosses, not just one side. Actually, the majority of the time it came from the left when he was on the left. This has to stop. It's that simple. We have to do the basics, and we're not doing the basics. So this manager and coaching staff need more time on the practice field, on the training field with these players, and just drill the fundamentals in defense. That's what it needs. On paper,
let me bring you back again. Let's talk about the game management issue whenever you're done talking about what you've chosen to speak about.
Yeah, okay, game management. I think it was Bobby that said it. You can apply game management, but when you have to actually, shall we say, hoof the ball long because of the fact they're pressing, game management is negated because you lose the ball immediately.
You're bypassing the
forwards.
midfield.
Yeah, because they're pressing. So what does if the keeper doesn't hoof it forward? Guess what? We're probably going to be conceding a goal. So this is very primitive 101 football, and we played into their hands in that regard. We need to hold on to the ball to then manage the game. So you're putting the cart before the horse. First of all, we need to have possession of the ball so we can manage it. If we can't maintain possession, how can we manage it? These small details matter, sir. So you can't listen. A coach can coach and utilize strategies, formation, substitutes. But when the players don't execute, then there's nothing a coach can do / manager. It's that simple. And I'll say this till the day I die because it's a fact. As I said, these managers get way too much credit when you win and way too much blame when you lose.
One more sentence left.
It was a sexy game.
Damn.
I don't know. Yeah, you're damned.
In this case, he's getting caned even after winning.
Yeah, that's a good point, Bobby. It's exactly. I don't believe Klopp got this much criticism when they drew. I don't believe Pep got this much criticism when he conceded 3 against this team, etc. I can continue.
Or Arsenal
But
that
no-
won 4-3. Arsenal
yeah,
that beat them
sorry,
4-3.
Arsenal. Yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
no, we're going to criticize. We're going to criticize Poch because of, guess what? Because of the fact he's probably an ex-Spurs coach, or that there's. Listen, you've got to take the good with the ugly, and today was a bit of both. And Jester is right. You know, winning ugly is nothing to be ashamed about. You know, good teams do that. Are we perfect? No, not even close. But at least we didn't concede more goals. Possibly Lady Luck was on our side to a certain extent, but guess what? We came away from a very it's a tough place to play, and we did well considering.
Hang on there. Let me add a few points there. Game management and keeping the ball in the midfield. Who is doing this in our team right now? Nobody is doing it. Even if the goalkeeper is kicking the ball forward, we are not winning tackles enough, and our midfielders keep passing the ball back. After first goal, up to first goal, we were moving the ball forward. But as soon as we go 1-0 up, we come into that frame of mind that we are just going safe, and going back. Every manager has different ways to control the game. So if you look like our team only, I don't watch other teams that many games, so I cannot say that. Only thing I can say in that argument is, why is Klopp not getting so much criticism and analysis? Look where his team is, and look where our team is. People criticize when we lose, people praise when we win. And if we win ugly, okay, it's a win. But the criticism will not be that much. But when there is a pushback in favor or in against these topics keep coming back. But what I see, what's missing in the game management is, I mean, we do not have a Mikel who controls the tempo. Jorginho, people criticize Jorginho so much, but he used to run the games. He and Kovacic could just maintain the ball and just keep rotating. You can put 2 players on them, 3 players on them. They would just pass along between themselves, and you can't take the ball away from them. At the moment, Gallagher is in the middle.
I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, and this is not his fault.
I was going to say
that's
what
not
Roger
his
said.
capability. He is very good tackling. And that's I will not criticize him for that, because he's doing his best. He's bringing other qualities.
You're making Jorginho. You're making Jorginho sound like he was Ballon d'Or winner. I'm sorry, mate. He was 1-on-1 with someone.
He was able to control the game. There are things he can do, which is, you can say he's not able to deal with the physical side effectively. He struggles against the physical side, but he's able to know that's he's excellent at controlling the games. Game management, that's his.
Maybe in those situations,
Coach doesn't want me to talk.
Up. In those situations,
I was going to let you speak, but JC wanted to interject. But go ahead, JC.
Yeah. So in those situations, maybe make an adjustment to keep Gallagher a little bit further and put Enzo in the middle, because he is better at ball retention. And he needs support, physicality that can be provided by Gallagher and by Caicedo. And I think this will be solved when Lavia comes in. But will Lavia come in place of Gallagher? No, not necessarily. It's a team game, and you will need Gallagher in certain phases of the game, and you will need certain phases of game. You would see Enzo sitting on the bench, or Caicedo sitting on the bench, or Lavia sitting on the bench. It's about game management.
You're comparing you're comparing J5 controlling a game with a team that won the Champions League and got to 6 cup finals. Okay, this is a very youthful team.
He played a prominent role also in the Italian team.
Then, Roger, he's not I think he's mentioning what
No,
his
you're
ability to
comparing
control the game, yeah.
apples. You're comparing apples to oranges because this team last 3 days ago
Roger,
was
you're
the
not getting
youngest
my
Premier League
point.
team
You're
ever.
not getting my
I
point.
am getting.
I'm giving you an
Wow.
example.
Hold on, Roger,
I'm
let him
gi-
explain again.
Roger, I'm giving you
No,
an
I don't need
example
him
of
to
how.
explain because don't be condescending.
Roger,
I
you are
like you,
talking one
JC.
player. I'm talking team shape.
All right.
Yes, and I'm telling you, you're
Okay.
comparing apples
Roger,
to
what were you saying?
oranges.
Go ahead, Roger. Let's hear you. Let's not
Well,
fight.
can I
Let's hear
talk
you.
now?
Yeah, go. But I'm just saying you're comparing apples to oranges
Coach
because you're
doesn't want me to
comparing
talk.
So
shape
you're
with an
saying
orange.
who's apple and who is an orange, and describe
Oh
that,
my
please,
God,
because
JC.
oranges and
All
apples
right,
are
let's
not
stop.
football.
Okay, Bobby, go ahead. Bobby, go ahead.
Jesus Christ.
Thank you. I'm amazed that we're talking like this after winning, and that somebody came on in the beginning, and all he could think of was to attack Conor Gallagher, who has arguably been overplayed and was quite jaded for this game, and probably started because we've got nobody else. This was a very physical, imbalanced game in terms of the officiating. I think Luton, what they do that they're being praised for is rubbish. Kicking and trying to injure opposition players is not football. I can understand you using physicality, I'll accept that. But when you're trying to maim people, raking them down the back of the Achilles, not once, not twice, not 3 times, all over the pitch, then I think there's a problem. And the referee allowed that. Chelsea players would have been given a red card and have been given a red card for far less. Now, all this talk of game management is laughable. Game management with who? With who? You know, the people we brought on to manage the game with couldn't deal with the physicality. Fair enough, they're coming back from injury, and fair enough, the pace of the game of it all was too much for them because of that. But the truth of the matter is that we won. We won in a very difficult place to go and win. There were many positives from this game and many things for these youngsters to take forward. Just as Noni Madueke said in his post match, that look, we have to take it a game at a time and we have to take encouragement from this and build on it. And I think he's right. This is a kid in the game who basically defensively was rather wanting, if you ask me, and was the reason why all these crosses were coming in. Now, I can understand also the defensive shape and application is not good enough at all. Yes, I believe that. Is it a personnel issue? Slightly. Is it a tactical issue? Slightly as well. We're changing the defense a lot, and when you change a defense, you start struggling. You know, Badia Shield, well, you know, he's still recovering. Thiago Silva, yes, you know, you can't keep having a player living off his past. Now, of the defenders, he did extremely well. He battled well. He, in the main, defended well. But what the key Achilles, the weakness, is when a ball comes in the air, there's no Rudiger there. There's no, to be fair to him, Christensen there to head the ball out. And just before I drop the example of Jorginho is laughable. One of the reasons we got rid of Jorginho was because of games like this. Games like this, he couldn't handle. He would be bullied, pushed, and swamped and kicked off. So I don't think he's one to use to support any case against Gallagher. Look, we are a young team. We are a team that is trying to overcome our injuries. I think this is a game, and this is just my opinion. You know, everybody will say what they will say and they're entitled to it. But for me, I think I would entertain a lot more of how the game went. Yes, the negatives in the defense, that is very, very acceptable. And the positives in a lot of the players that have been much maligned. I think Jackson, for a player that has been played over and over and over again, he, although he's not scoring yet, but he decided
He
to
had an
use
excellent game.
his. I think he did towards the end of the second half in particular. He did his defensive duties excellently in a game that was that sort of play was needed. Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to talk about the Cole Palmer. Well, they are, fleetingly talking about it. But that goal he scored, crikey, if he had been a Brazilian or he had been from Spain, we'll be talking about it forever and a day. The media refusing to even acknowledge that foul on Jackson on his Achilles. If that had been a Chelsea player, they would have played that over and over and over and over again and bitched about it till the cows come home. Look, we can't be this negative. Surely, I'm bemused. Because saying Pochettino out after winning a game, really? Uh, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. This fashionable dig Chelsea at all forums. Let's just dig this team. Whatever they do, dig them. Don't be objective. I think it's excessive now. It's excessive and
No,
it's
no,
getting
it's
boring.
I'll you know what I'll tell you. If we were winning, losing the game 2-0, and in like last or winning one, losing 1-2, and in last 10 minutes, we went on to win and finished the game on a high. The feelings would be more positive, definitely. But it's just like those last 10 minutes we conceded two, and that's why I mean
Wait, the
people are a
feelings would be
little bit
more
negative.
positive
But
if
there
we
are
were losing.
definitely, I agree with you. There are a lot more positives than negatives. We won the game 3-2, of course. In 80 minutes we were good. Okay, well, not like prime Barcelona, but we were good enough, and they were looking
All right,
ordinary.
let's hear Roger before I take the microphone back to the chat. He wanted to say something. I just wanted to calm things down. Look, we're here to have a conversation. We're all expressing our respective opinions. If you cannot back off whatever you're saying with a number, it's simply an opinion.
No,
And you're
to
entitled
me,
to yours, and I'm entitled to mine. Go ahead, Roger.
this is
No,
how
we're
I.
not fighting here. I just wanted you
No,
to come in so that we
I'm
can close the
cool.
microphone. Yeah.
The thing that I don't know whether appreciate is the right term, but to me, I don't see the midfield as the biggest Achilles heel today. I thought it was our defense, especially aerially. Yet
It was our
again,
defense. Yep.
yeah, it's like you can look at it as a
I
layered.
agree.
You could look at it as a layered approach.
But Roger, I don't feel like I've joined your gang because I've
Roger,
agreed too much with you
okay,
today.
tell me very
Let's go ahead.
honestly.
Let's Roger
Let
drop,
me
please.
ask
Sorry.
Roger
Go ahead.
very
Let's let
honest opinion.
Roger drop, please. Roger, go ahead.
Okay, sure.
No, I honestly think that, yes, was the midfield perfect? Of course it wasn't. Do we have issues in the midfield? Of course we do. But if you think that is the only reason why you lost, then I politely,
Maybe you're not
respectfully
paying
say
attention, right?
no, get your eyes checked, because
Why you lost? We didn't lose.
no, but you know what I'm saying. Talk about
You understand what he's saying?
conceding goals while we lost possession
I'm
and so
sorry.
forth.
Okay.
It had
Go
nothing
ahead,
to do with
Roger.
that. It had to do with the fact that we were not able to negate
Hold
any
on to
crosses. But more importantly, we were losing aerial battles, conceding headers. Don't forget our keeper saved us a couple of times. Otherwise, you're looking at a loss for sure from reflex saves. So
That save. Wow. Close range.
there was multiple.
Last 10 minutes, they were really pushing, and
They
you
push
can,
you.
And
you
we
can
were not
argue,
able.
you can
We were not
argue
able to.
correctly, like
We were not able
defense
to stop.
fragilities were there, but I mean, as a team, we were not defending well enough. Okay, leaving aside this, let's move on with
Roger hasn't
one
dropped.
thing.
Roger has not dropped.
What I wanted
Let's go
to
one by
ask
one.
you,
Roger
Roger.
hasn't dropped, so we can move on. And we have the chat. They're waiting for the microphone.
Honestly, listen, there was, how shall I put this? There's enough kudos to go around and enough blame to go around. But to me personally, it's the fact that we allowed too many crosses to come in. And you can't stop a corner, obviously, from coming in, but we're not winning enough battles aerially. And this is what actually transpired. So I look at the midfield. I look at the midfield as being one of the least issues for us defensively, because of the fact we weren't actually able to maintain possession when the ball was cleared forward, because it had to be cleared forward. It's that simple, because of the fact that they were pressing up front. So therefore, I would say out of the three lines, you've got your defense, your midfield, and and your forwards, I would say I would put them in the least critical
Okay, let
aspect
me
of it,
also
based on my observation.
Okay, let me learn my observation. Why I explain is like we a lot of people are also like taking it more objectively in a way that okay, there are positives, but there are also negatives. Probably my guess is I've not seen the statistics, but the XG we will be below. And if those two like shots on the bar had got in, we probably would have lost the game. We could have lost the game.
Easily.
Yeah. So let's keep those in the chat. The microphone will come back here again. We'll have a good conversation there about Cole Palmer's the 2 goals he scored. The fact that he won the ball. Yep, and that's the third time now he's gotten you can say he's gotten us goal from his ball winning. You can say winning the ball in the final third. This one he read it so well and just caught the pass and. You know the rest. But we get back to that. He's been okay. I'm not sure what you're referencing there. Facts, whether you're referencing the fact. Thank God Palmer in Madueke served us today. Both were excellent. And they clearly Gallagher subscribed to Coach's Twitter, and now he cannot stop praising him. Did I praise him? Did I praise him? If I did, yeah, nothing wrong there. Numbers show he's been one of our best performers this season so far. And yeah, I like to be as objective as I can. Even if you think the bar is low, give him respect for what he's done so far. Zono marking, not man marking. Let's see what else we have here. It keeps changing. They should write a book called "The Sissy Cannot Jump." He's a huge guy. Looks like he's not that good, really, but I need more time. They overloaded the wings to get balls in for headers. A very simple. Poch didn't adjust things last 10-15 minutes to deal with that. Yeah, that's another issue too. I agree with that one, to be honest. We play 1 game per week, bro. We have plenty of time on the training pitch. Poch is here's the thing. Poch is whatever you call him there. Ask your question. At one point in time, since he joined us, has he had all our players available for selection? Start from there. Let's see
And we
how
haven't been
objective we
playing
can
one
be.
game a week. In the past
Yeah.
3 weeks, we've been playing 2
Not in
games a
December.
week. Yeah.
Not in December, but let's agree. Let's agree. We just have one competition to deal with. But let him start by saying how many times since he's become our manager has he had all our players available for selection. Start from there. I'm not going to even go to the extent of counting how many games we're playing per week, but it makes sense to factor that into what you're saying there. Even if we didn't play
Coach,
one a
that's
week,
factually, as Roger would say, that's factually incorrect. And this is this thirst and lust of attacking Chelsea at all, and in every which way you can find to do it. That's not the truth. That is an incorrect statement that we've been playing 1 game a week. It's not true.
no,
Certainly
but
not for
yeah, right now
December.
we've been playing at least how many 3 games a week or at least 2 games a week.
At least
Yeah.
2.
At least 2,
9
yeah.
9 in December, I believe.
Yeah, 9 in December. Yeah. So even if we didn't play one game a week, you still know what Luton would do if not to that. I think here's the thing: you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. I think the approach worked. Maybe he should have changed this around on time when they were on us. But the starting approach, let me just leave it at that, worked. I need to watch the game again. I don't like pulling stuff out of my wazoo and throwing it at people. Caught before the donkey, Roger. Let's see what else we have here. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. I have had enough of set piece mistakes, and we cannot keep doing that. It has repeated severally, which highlights the fact that it's an issue for us. We have to address that. And as he says, maybe we need to hire a set piece specialist. Toko did that with what's his name that now joined them at Bayern. What's his name again? And he was good at it. And when he joined us, we started conceding less from set piece. Cole Palmer is the future. Give Poch a break. He hasn't got the time to study opposition. He's writing a new book.
Wow.
Maybe. Again, the H coach is obsessed. Do you think I am? But just because I have those that I'm quite sure probably will go there if they don't change. Stop mentioning City, Arsenal, and all those names. They are 3-0 up and cruising. Luton did not do a comeback we completely capitulated. That's a difference. We had the opportunity to slap them. I'll still take it. We won. We could have lost, actually. Keep dropping the likes on the stream, people. The likes do go a long way. Could you think of that? H word so much for us. You will end up there. Be careful. Hopefully, I'm not the captain there, because if I am, I'll throw you two in the deep end. I blame TweetsX and everything YouTubers. Obviously not coach for whipping up a drama after every game with loss or draw and making insults towards manager and players with no patience or not being objective about it. Let me just go with that. Everybody has every right. As individuals, we have respective rights to you can say contest anything we think is wrong, but let's try and be more objective sometimes. I always knew Madueke had someone in him. Okay, some of our fans lost belief in the kid. Just take a look at what he did at his former club PSV. I think he was absolutely incredible. He's a confident chap too, and that's why he's you can say calling telling the club he wants to leave if he doesn't play. Counter-attack FC. Poch is rolling back the years. I'll take it. Remember, with IQ here, it doesn't have to be pretty. I wouldn't even mind us sitting deep and hitting the opposition on a break. And it has worked for us. And Bobby did mention that during the pregame show. Let's be honest, our team is set to attack. We have pacey wingers and attackers. It's when we try to slow the game down, put our foot on the ball, or pass backwards where we mess up. But today, I think the case is actually they were on the front foot and we were defending. We hit them on a break on occasions. For me, whatever the manager did worked first for 5 minutes perfectly, in my opinion. You need to close the balls coming in from wide and make adjustments and on time. He didn't do that on time. I agree to that. Sometimes it's good to bypass the midfield altogether. Petrovic did that effectively and it worked. We can make sure
Very
and you
impressed
caught
with
that, Roger,
Petrovic
that. Yeah,
today.
I thought he was saying something nice. He caught
Very
Yeah.
that.
impressed with
Look at what he
Petrovic
was
today.
doing there.
Very.
I don't let Roger drop. Let's see what else we have here. Anything else? Broya is fast, but isn't clinical. I think he needs time. He's a fine finisher on his day. Jackson has no pace. Jackson has no pace? Okay. Anything really. Stalin has aging pace, but he's a feather. Okay. I haven't fully seen Noni and Nkunku's pace, and we know the Roadrunner is fast. Jackson is quick, my friend. Jackson has no pace.
Jackson
Ask
has
him
no
that question
pace.
again.
Yeah. Oh man, this is bash Chelsea at all costs.
Sorry,
Jackson has no pace.
my alarm is blaring. Somebody go ahead. I'll be back.
Has that guy even watched Jackson to come out with that sort of statement? Oh my God! You know, I know everybody has the right to their opinion, but really, oh dear, oh dear, oh
Bobby
dear.
Jackson had a good game today, actually.
I think he did well. He grew in the game. Towards the
Yeah.
end of the second half, he started. His defensive work was spotless. I thought he did well. You know, I'll continue praising Petrovic. I think Petrovic. The thing I like so much about Petrovic is that when we're under pressure, you're not as concerned with him as you are with Sanchez. When he's distributing, you're not as concerned. You don't think he's going to give it to the opposition as you do with Sanchez, because Sanchez has done that often. I think at the moment, I get what Roger says, that it's only been, 4 games? And, you know, he needs a run for us to know what he's about. But honestly, I think for me, he's shown us what he's about. And I was really keen on this game because the jury was out for me about coming to collect crosses. But he did that about 3 or 4 times. He came out, collected a cross, and relieved the pressure. You know, his shot stopping is exceptional. You know, even the free kick that was it Barkley that took, that he pushed onto the bar. This guy is a damn good keeper. He really is.
Bobby,
And
would you say it like when the ball is near Petrovic, somewhere near him, there is no drama on the field, With Sanchez, it's like
exactly. I
shaking
think
everything.
that's the way to put it. You're not concerned. You're not thinking, oh my goodness, is he going to have this under control? He's going to have it under control. His
keeps
distribution,
keeps it very quiet and simple and
yeah,
efficient.
He's composed.
Yeah.
he is. And I look at body language a lot. Winners, there's a scowl they have on their face when they're in action that you just know they're going to be on top. And he has that. He has that. Back in the day, we'll call it the eye of the tiger. He has that eye of the tiger. He's a winner, that kid. I know there's still a lot to judge him on, but for me, so far, so good, really.
Do you think Sanchez gets his job back?
He shouldn't
He
do. On what basis?
he got another week to because he just got another week's holiday to get fit more. Just relax, enjoy it. So we
I'm agreeing with you, Bobby, but I'm asking, do you think who starts the next meaningful game for Chelsea?
It has to be Petrovic.
Yeah,
And
I
he has
agree.
to keep starting.
yeah.
You can't switch it now. He's seized the number one position at the moment.
It's his to lose, I believe.
Yes, yes.
And by the way, Sanchez has a long-term contract as well, isn't it? So I
I'm
think
not
he's
sure.
got one of these like 7 years contracts or something like that. Both of
I'm,
them.
I'm okay with Sanchez being the number 2. I have no
Will
problem
he
with
be
that.
like that? I doubt. He left Brighton because he didn't want it to be number 2. But I think things are not looking very, very, very bright for him if Petrovic keeps his place and starts to improve on whatever we have seen so far. Then Sanchez has a problem. He can back up.
Yeah, Petrovic comes across as calm, as a much calmer of the two. I think he reads the game better, in my opinion. He reads situations better than Sanchez from what I've seen so far. Just quickly, I need to catch up with what we have in the chat, but something is blocking my screen here. I'm not sure how to deal with that. I'll come back to the panel in a bit. I think we'll have full house right now. I've addressed that one. I'm just going to scroll to the very bottom in a bit. This says, I can't read it. Oh, gosh, how do I send this back? Okay, there you go. It's gone back now. Sorry, my kids, I don't know what they did. They threw something at the glass, so the system thinks somebody broke the glass and came in. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Palmer has tripled Mount's all-time Premier League open play, assist a record in 85 less. Do we need to do these comparisons? To me, it's not necessary. That's why I told you the gates of that place is open for you, and you have to go in there. Jackson has plenty, just not finishing yet. If he didn't receive that ball at his feet, turn a shrug of players, bust forward, even as the player was dragging him, and put perfect through ball without win. So give him a break. I think he's done well, actually. That's he could have had 3 assists in total right now, because he created 2 against 3 excellent chances against Crystal Palace. Great information from the panel, but we need to sort out the set piece issue as soon as possible. I agree with you. I am writing it to Chelsea to get the set piece coach. Go ahead. Do that if you work. So I'm going to scroll to the very bottom, and I will try to get your subsequent contributions. Tiger just joined us. Tiger, let's say your observations with a minute or two, your observations from the game. Then I'll go to Eric Blue. But Tiger, here's for you. Appreciate you joining, Eric Blue, my bro. How you doing? Now, this is for Rick Blue too. But let's hear you, Tiger. Your observations from the game. Let's hear you.
Big up, coach. Big
Big
up
up
to
to
the
you too,
panel. Big
brother.
up to the chat, and thank you, Bobby, for that quick Eye of the Tiger plugin. So, well, I mean, today's match,
So
we won.
that's. I thought nobody else would really understand what I was saying apart from Roger.
Oh, yeah, the
So,
tiger understands the proverb used for the tiger. So, yeah, I mean, today's match, coach, it was good, but uh, as I am right now, I have distinct opinions from set of people who totally believe on the project and totally believe on everything that Poch is doing, and I don't hate those people. I don't dislike those people. They are as big a member, maybe more than me, or people who don't actually rate the project or the manager as well. For me, this match was good for the first half, but I would be very honest, and to all the panel members on the panel and the coach and even in the chat, you guys have a lot of experience of watching ball. Maybe you guys have watched ball for so many years
Sorry,
that
what did you say?
doesn't even. I just said that you guys have a lot of experience, right, of watching football in general. Maybe your
Oh yeah,
experience
yeah,
of
yeah,
watching
yeah.
football surpasses my very own age. So I'm not questioning that. But what I've saw today, rather than those moments when we actually created the goal and buried it at the back of the net, we were not in the control, right? And Luton was pressing us. We were losing all the second balls in the midfield. Just wait a second, coach.
Go ahead before your dog bites someone. Before when I'll catch a few stuff we have here. Get it. So when he comes back, he joins us. Well
Yeah,
said,
I'm back.
Bobby. Constantine Dante agreeing with Bobby. Dante, you make them feel like we're part of their gang now. We shouldn't be agreeing with Bobby and Roger.
Wow,
But go ahead,
I'll take
Tiger.
that
Let's hear you.
as a
Yeah.
very big compliment indeed. That Constantine Dante is agreeing with me. Wow, thank you. I'm happy now.
Yeah. So I personally felt we were not in control in some passages of play today, and that actually
Yeah, let's hear you.
didn't.
Go ahead, Tiger.
Well, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
can hear you crystal clear.
yeah. So that's what I was saying, coach. I really thought that we were not in control in some passages of play, and when we actually scored the goals, they came out of a lot of individual brilliances and the one-twos that a player created, especially Cole Palmer. I would go beyond and say that he's the best signing of the season in the whole of Europe. I'll even cross the boundary because I have not seen someone performing as well as him in the Premier League, who has just been signed in the summer. Maybe if you guys can suggest, or the chat can suggest any names, because it's not coming in my mind at least, and has and someone who has had so much impact on the team as well, and the attacking play of the team as well. So Cole Palmer is up there for me. He has been brilliant. Coming on to the issue that I would be addressing is I saw a lot of hate for Caicedo on different platforms. Before this, I was also on a channel. I was there as well, a panelist, and people were discussing and saying a lot of things about Caicedo, how he's not good and how he was, the French word today, and he was getting passed by and all that. He was losing balls. I just want to highlight, personally, I think today Caicedo was fairly well. He played good. If you remember that cross he did to Jackson in the central area of the field, and then Jackson just messed it up.
That was
I
delicious, really.
That was delicious, right? So I personally feel that that price tag, which has nothing to do with Caicedo himself, because he has not said that buy me for 115 million. Two people came along and that price tag went up. So he's being actually over expected and matched along that price tag, and that's why he's not being valued or rated enough by people, and that's fairly all right. I also understand those kind of people who say that if you pay some 115 million pounds for someone, they should drop performances like that too. But here's what I have to say, and this is the criticism of Poch, and people may disagree, and it's completely well. In my honest and humble opinion, coach and the panel and the chat, Poch does not know how to utilize the players in the midfield we have right now, with the exception of Gallagher. Why I say that is, and I quote in reference of the Everton game, he played Enzo up as a higher 10, which is predominantly a very favored position for Gallagher, right? And he played Gallagher as a defensive midfielder in that position. Gallagher had more touches and more passes than Enzo in that match. And this is not one game. This has been the story of the season. Enzo has been played up the order, higher up in the midfield, and has not been utilized the way Enzo should be utilized. Now, when you have a world-class midfielder like Enzo, and your manager cannot utilize him, then the whole midfields look like a conundrum. And then I'll give it to Poch, like he has a lot of injuries on his hands, so it's not easy to organize and set up the midfield.
Now,
But
let me ask you quickly, if you don't
yeah,
mind.
no.
You don't have to understand. Let me ask you quickly. So you're saying, with the exception of Gallagher, he's not been using other players effectively. What would you like him to do differently to get the best out of such a player such as Caicedo? I'm guessing that was the reason why you made that comment, right?
Yeah, because Caicedo is also finding it difficult to settle in the midfield, because I don't think so Caicedo is that sitter, that defensive midfielder that can allow Enzo to go in those half paces, also come back. Enzo needs to be free. But what happens is sometimes Enzo is used as a central attacking midfielder, and then sometimes it's used as a very higher up. In that position, he needs to run a lot. But Enzo, by giving his profile of being a regista, he need not run that much. He's a player who gives those breaking the line passes to someone like Havertz, to someone like Felix. He's not a player who will run like Gallagher. And what is my fear along here, coach? The moment Gallagher goes from this football club, and now I was reading Twitter and all that, it's a very strong link, and it's shameless that we are even talking about selling him to Spurs.
Why are you too
But
sure it's a strong link? I'd say it's absolute hot dunk right now, because it wouldn't make sense.
Maybe, but it's getting its legs, I can say, because a story when quoted by different outlets, and it's building up. Hypothetically, let's just say that Gallagher is sold in January. The moment Gallagher departs this midfield, coach, this midfield would be a conundrum, because the players who would be left, we have just one sitter in Lavia, who probably has a thigh injury, as reported. So he's also, yeah. And then Leslie Ugochukwu, who is, I don't think so yet arrived fully into the Premier League. So he's still young. He still has to improve a lot. And we don't have someone like Gallagher, if Gallagher goes, that can, hide mistakes of Poch in that midfield area. Because what happens is Gallagher overcompensates. If even Enzo does some mistakes, even Caicedo does some mistakes, he wins those second balls dropping deep. He goes further and gets those passes in the box sometimes. So Gallagher is kind of a midfielder for Poch, who is saving, a lot of miseries that the midfield creates. And Poch has still not been able to unlock that whole midfield setup. And as to the question of what he can do different is, it's very basic and clear. Just don't play Enzo in the higher 10, higher roles. Play him as a 6 or maybe an 8, and play Caicedo as a 6 or maybe an 8. What happens is, the moment you try and say, Enzo, go and run, and be a box-to-box midfielder, Enzo doesn't have that space and doesn't have that, agility to go on and make those runs and collect those second balls. He's a regista. And Poch has never played like as much as I have seen with a regista type of player. He needs those players who can, put on sprints, someone like Gallagher, someone like, and I'm quoting a misrepresentation, not from the midfield, but like a Dembele or something like that, who he had in Spurs. I'm not remembering the name of the midfielder. So those kind of midfielders who are very, very, bursty in pace, who can sprint it up, who can run. So he has that kind of mentality. So I personally don't think so. He's able to utilize Enzo that much, and that's a very big issue in my honest opinion. And Caicedo is also getting, Caicedo is just settling in, and I personally, as I said, I like his game today. I don't know why he's getting all the hate. Maybe because of the price tag and all that, but yeah, I personally think that's what my point is, that with Gallagher departing, if and so he departs, this midfield would be a bigger conundrum if Poch doesn't solve the problem. Rather than the midfield, I didn't actually saw a lot of problems. Jackson is what Jackson is. I don't really want to rant. I'm now exhausted ranting over Jackson. I'm done with that guy. If that guy is played like striker, he needs to understand that the striker finishes. If he cannot finish, then better don't play as a striker. Convey to your manager that I don't want to be a striker. I have never been a striker. Don't play me as a striker. That would be good for you and the football club. If you're learning that, please learn it, coming 20 minutes off the bench. Don't start the game for my club and then ruin chances. Because I'm not a hater of Jackson. I want him to do well. But the performances he drops doesn't help. He's very good in link up. He's very good in ball control. He's very good at dropping deep in 1-2s. I confirm that. I agree to that.
All right.
But what is the role of a striker? To bury that ball inside the net. He's not good at that. People will say goal. How much of that goals are actual good goals? Most of
Oh
our
my
tackles.
gosh! Just quickly, why is Astrid Wet taking picture with Cole Palmer? I can't even believe I said that name.
Oh my God.
I hope she doesn't
Jackson
jinx
virus.
that guy for us. But go ahead.
Also, Tiger, Jackson is very good at flick-ons too. He's excellent at flick-ons.
Yeah. Is it
But
Roger
I
or
agree
Bobby?
with you, though. I agree
Roger.
with you, though.
Yeah, no, Roger, and much respect to yourself, big up. I just wanted to say that as a striker, he needs to finish the games, right? He
Yeah.
needs to finish those chances. If he's not finishing the chances, you cannot be a Chelsea striker or any top tier team striker if you're not finishing chances. Because and people say to me that, you know what, Jackson has these goals and Didier Drogba also had this much goal in his first season. I am just saying that, you know what makes a top team different from a mid-table team or a lower mid-table team or whatever. Your striker needs to finish chances which are very easy. When a striker misses those half chances, it's forgivable. But when a striker misses those sitters, that impacts the whole team. I don't remember what. Yeah, please, coach.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll let you drop so that we can give those in the chat the microphone and see what else we can talk about before we call it a day. Go ahead.
Yeah. Now, I was just saying, I don't remember the game, like two games ago. What was that game that we didn't score and then a team came from the back and beat us? Just a recent game. Wolves. Yeah. Sorry. Wolves. It is. That game we squandered a lot of chances.
Yes,
and Jackson was the one who also squandered a chance.
And Sterling.
When you don't make your chances, coach, and the panel and the chat, that puts your defense into a position where they are now looking about a counter-attack any moment, about the other team now, building up on you. Because this is a game of football. The other team also is here to score. They will get some passage of play where they will also create the chance. And if you don't bury your chances, someone else will. So,
all right.
So that's what I want to say. And everyone else was good, I guess. Poch needs to play a proper left back. I don't know what MMS of Poch does. Colville has that he's not starting. Ian Matson at left back position. Yeah, that's the only thing.
All right, thank you so much for that, Tiger. I'll come back to you again in a bit. I wish we have enough time. Someone said that Jackson has no pace, and since then, I have been trying to verify the definition of pace. Maybe it's a reverse of that. I know I've told you they're gonna drag you to that H place. Cole Palmer is maybe the best thing that's happened to Chelsea this past 3 years. Really, honestly, no one really stepped up like he did in a debut season for Chelsea in years. Not even Hazard. I'm not going to go into that comparison. I just know he's good. We signed us an excellent player there, and I still take him over Kudus anytime, any day, given what we've seen so far. But we can actually have them both. But it's too late now. We aren't getting Kudus. It's Chimera. His agenda on Jackson is ludicrous. I think I agree with you, and that's why he's gonna get to the H place sooner than anybody else. And even his avatar shows that he's already there. Actually, maybe close to the gate, and the burning stuff is reflecting on his reflecting in his eyes. Is coach there? I'm here. I had to go out a bit. Let's see what else we have here. We need a set piece specialist. I think we do. Look at him. I was faster than Jackson at this age. He has no pace, just long strides. Enjoy your stay in the H place at Chimera. Big up Tiger. Yes, let's see what else we have here. I understood Bobby. I hope you are feeling better. Bobby is good, I believe. Chimera, yeah, he's there already, in my opinion. Yeah, I will. Constantine Dante, why are you still mentioning his name? Gallagher is attacking Tiger. Down, boy, down. Okay, let's go. Bobby is. It was only about the Jackson comment. That's all. Jackson was excellent on the day from start to finish, in my opinion. Maybe I need to see it again. He did really well. Just let Jackson be Jackson, like I've always preached.
Was that Constantine?
Just don't play him as a number 9. Go ahead, Bobby.
Was that Constantine?
Yeah, it was Constantine. He's trying to fight with you because he's agreed with you so many times today.
Yeah, tell him I take everything I can get, even if it's one comment. He's made me happy now.
Yeah, that's enough, right? For Jackson's comment, Bobby, the backbenchers gang is fully behind you. Wow. Okay. Not best signing in Europe, Tiger. Look at Kane at Bayern or Bellingham at Madrid. They have been impactful, or whatever language you prefer. In the UK, Madison at Sports, it's impacting well too.
But
I agree with you.
Coach, if I can just...
okay. Yeah. Madison is another player I thought we were going to go for. Bobby, were you saying something? Okay. Casado did okay, especially at the end.
Someone else.
Go ahead.
I think it was Tiger.
Yeah. I just want to say, Coach, to the earlier comment. I think I said Premier League, or have I said Europe by mistake? If I have said Europe, I seek pardon. I meant Premier League. And if you see in Premier League, and if people say Madison is injured right now. So currently active Premier League players. Yeah, I don't think so. Anyone is better than Cole Palmer this window.
All right. This says that Casado did okay, especially at the end. He held the midfield alone. Gala was finished. Even Houston, I'm not gonna compare who was better. They both did good today, in my opinion. Easy Tiger, easy. Tiger gets a bit excited every now and then. Tiger has become so popular so quickly that I'm even jealous. Wow. Take the mic from Mr. Too Positive. Who was that? We didn't shut the shop but we won. I think they will learn a lot. The kids will learn a lot from that. My advice to Tiger is stop reading Twitter, read a book. I remember TT saying that to a journalist who said he has been reading online.
Good, bro.
Yeah, good advice there, Tiger, right? I hope you take that one. We don't need a midfielder. This midfield is good enough to compete with the best. Lavia will complete the plans Chelsea have for the midfield. Gallagher will be dropped if Lavia is fit and running. Okay, I'm just going to leave it at that. We'll find out very soon what the manager does. We need to start an age count for Coach Eastream. His stats are like Gallagher's. Wow. We are all exhausted of Jackson. No, we're not. You are. Don't drag us to where you want to go. AW actually took a picture with Cole Palmer. I hope she doesn't jinx it for us. I didn't like that. Jerry is on holiday. Let me just leave it at that. I believe in Jersey. He will get it too. Why do fans act like Jackson is bottom of the league in goals? He's top 10 in his first season, and that's not easy. But I get it. He should be doing much better. He even himself agrees that he should have more goals than he has right now. But let Jackson be Jackson. He's doing a good work for us. He can be physical too, and he did well today. Even as they were pulling him down, he was still going. Jerry is on the line and has been offline for a while. What was I gonna? Eric, welcome to the panel. I appreciate you finding the time to join this the show. Let's hear you, Eric. Once more, welcome back. It's been a minute, brother. I know you've been busy, and 90% because bills don't pay themselves. But Eric, let's hear you. Your observations from the game before we move on to the next things we'll have to talk about.
Big up, coach. Big up to the panel.
Big up,
everyone.
my bro. And I've welcomed
Hello.
you with the soundboard, but I'm gonna do it again anyway because you're my bro.
Okay,
Let's
so
hear you.
by the way, I've really enjoyed those graphics that you've been putting up. I know I
Thank
couldn't
you. I
be
appreciate
involved,
that.
but some very interesting images. But yeah, it was a good game today because we won.
So you think it was a good game? Okay, because we won. Okay, go ahead.
Yes, it was good because we won. I'm sure it was good for the neutral. Whoever is not really affiliated with either club would have loved that game. But for a Chelsea supporter, not so much. But you have to just win, you know. At least we got the win. It is it's not good to concede even one goal to a team like Luton, to be honest. But we've had a terrible record away from home. So, you know, get your wins where you can. We need to improve our away record. Is very bad. And yeah, we did a double over Luton, which, you know, anything less than that would have been a disgrace.
And they say no other club has done that.
Really?
Yeah, I think somebody said it in the chat. No other club has done a double over them.
I'm surprised about that. What about
the first to have done? Yeah, I can't quite remember. Somebody said in the chat. I don't know.
Okay.
I have to confirm, but go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So other teams haven't played them yet. I don't know about the other big clubs, but getting a win is good. That's the most important thing. I'm very happy we did that. And yeah, some forgettable moments. To be honest, some things that you know, I don't even want to talk about some bad mistakes. You know, Caicedo wasn't impressive today at all. I actually didn't expect a clean sheet in this game. To be honest, I did not expect it because we're just not that kind of team, you know. And I was saying earlier on in the season, I'm not too convinced about this team defensively. We're not the worst, but we're not great. So, you know, there's a lot to work on just overall. But it's good to get a win. It's good to score 3 goals. I didn't think we would score 3 goals today. And Jackson, for you know, say whatever you want about Jackson. At least he can receive the ball. At least he can pass, and he has speed. So even though he's not really a striker, like what we want, at least he can create chances with his movement, and he can help the team in other ways without always scoring. So I can say that much about him. And let's see what happens, you know, between now and January. I know it's just a few days. Who knows who we're gonna sign in the window coming up? But yeah, let's see what we can do to improve the team. But we're just very, very far away from where we want to be. And even I was saying before, top 6 is the best we can do, 6th place. But we may not even get 7th.
Do you think it's still possible?
It's still possible, of course it is. But you know, you have to win games.
Possible.
Yeah, mathematically it's still possible, but you need to go on a run. You know, we won 2 games in a row and we haven't shifted in the table. We're still 10th. So you have to do a lot better if we were going to get anywhere near top 6. So let's see what happens.
What do you think the manager has to start addressing that has been, you can say, our Achilles heels? Because here's the thing, this win is good in so many ways. Man City had to come back from a goal down to beat them at the same stadium. Arsenal beat them 4-3. They drew 1-1 with Liverpool. Correct me if I'm wrong. Roger mentioned that to me. And we've been awful away. We've lost how many games in a row? Away games in a row.
Quite
and we want this one. So to me, it's in so many ways a good game. But what do you think the manager should try or should work on addressing to make us better from you given your observations from this particular game?
The concentration isn't great, to be honest. Concentration for the full game. We make some sloppy passes at times, doesn't help. And just the maturity of the team, which, you know, you can say that about a lot of our games this season. So we need to be able to fight, have the grit to. I think Pochettino said to fight first before you then play after Crystal Palace match. So we need to, you know, have the grit to fight and then play when you can. But we also need to improve defensively. You know, the organization isn't good enough. The concentration could be better. So that is what I would hope we can work on, because this team will always score goals. Earlier on, when we went scoring, that was one of my biggest criticisms of Poch, because this team is supposed to be able to score goals and create chances. So at least we're doing that now. But if we can concede less, that will give us a higher chance of winning more games. So that's what I would say Poch needs to work on. Even if the football isn't great all the time, if we can concede less, be more organized, and have better concentration, that would help a lot.
Yeah, I'd say mine. I think we should work on defending set piece. I think we've been awful at that. We don't even do the basics on every time. Every time that was considered from a set piece, if you pay attention or take your time to analyze the situation, you come to the conclusion, usual conclusion. I'm going to use that term that mismatch. Whoever that's marking the person that ends up scoring against us are probably either smaller or cannot measure them in terms of their build or height and everything. That's the basics in terms of defending set piece. In my opinion, but go ahead, Roger.
Yeah, it's not just set pieces though. It's from open play where. I know.
I'm just mentioning mine. But
no. I concur, but I believe from open play we're allowing far too many crosses to come in. We're not getting close enough to their wingers or whomever. We're not usually getting sliced open down the middle. It's coming from out wide, where they're either putting it on the carpet or they're crossing, usually aerially, and that's where we're susceptible. More so than not, and I find that because a keeper has very little chance to recuperate or to recover, because a lot of these crosses are with velocity and they have curvature on it, and these are very hard to defend. So it behooves these defenders to prevent these crosses from coming in. Without fouling, of course, which we seem to do on a regular basis, by the way. It's just the basics from set pieces and from open play. I wanted to stress that also.
I think I agree with you, Bobby. You have anything there? What do you think? Okay, we have. Let me before I go to Bobby. Let's give Tebeho a chance. Let's hear him. Tebeho.
Hello, Tebeho.
Nice to see you, brother. I appreciate you finding the time.
Big up, guys.
The question I want to ask you is maybe I'll meet you and I'll meet you once I'm done talking because we're getting the feedback from your end. Your observation from the game and what do you think the manager should concentrate on fixing to make us better? I want to hear you, Tebeho.
Yes, first of all, big up, guys. I know fans can complain the way they want. It's okay, but at the end of the day, no team in the Premier League goes to Luton and then just overpower them. They're always good at home, no matter what. Even though they lost some games, but overall, I think our team done very well until those sloppy mistakes that we did, and then we gave them a power or space to come in, and then the Chong substitution for Luton was crucial because as soon he went in, oh my gosh, that kid was overcooking us. So overall, what I want from my team, but I know it will take time. And then Pochettino tried to address that. Unfortunately, we were under pressure. We couldn't do that. If we win 2-0 or 3-0, we need to control the game. We need to waste time, just manage the game very well, and then we'll see out the games. So Pochettino put Enzo in just to control the game. It didn't help, and then Luton was all over us. So I don't care what people say. We've been struggling against low blocks teams. And now we beat Luton away from home while other teams were struggling, even though they won, but they were struggling. So overall, I'm happy with some individual performances. We have to give credit to Jackson. Jackson today was fantastic, but sometimes frustrating because he was just wasting time for nothing. So overall, I'm happy with the performance. I don't care what people say.
I don't care either. You and I the same. So you owe me company beer. But let me ask you this: what do you think the manager should work on? The one thing you think the manager should address to make us better. Even at that, no matter what he fixes right now, we're not going to be perfect. That's because we have an entirely new squad, a very young one at that, and kids will always be kids. But let's hear you again, Tobeho. What should the manager try to fix?
To be honest, I think Eric Blue mentioned it. We should stop conceding a lot of goals. It's annoying because conceding a lot of goals doesn't mean you. I mean, scoring enough goals doesn't mean you win more games. Because what's the use of scoring more goals and still conceding sloppy goals? We've been conceding primary school goals each and every time. And then Luton should have won this game because they had some brilliant chances, but they couldn't capitalize. So overall, I think Mauricio Pochettino should just work with our defensive team in order to avoid conceding those sloppy goals.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. Personally, I think CFC is improving bit by bit. This time last year, we were 10th and had 22 goals scored. Phil Sips, thank you for that. And Kalito, I appreciate you finding time to join. I've shared the link with you to come and give us your 2 cents. But unfortunately, we'll be rounding up soon. That's up to you. We need to work on defense, in my opinion. That's something that's very important. Can I say that CFC have improved compared to last season? 22 goals scored and 21 conceded at 10th. Now we are still 10th, but 34 goals scored and 31 considered. Okay, that's that comment. As I understand the point you're trying to make, but we considered more, we scored more, considered more. But that highlights really we shipping in goals unnecessarily. You can say there are too many frauds on the panel already. We don't need another one. Just go away. Just look at that XG. Yeah, I had it up there. They could have won. And we agreed. I think, Roger, we agreed on that, didn't we? They have an XG of 2.66, and we have an XG of 1.48. And we agreed they could have won because they had too many good chances that they had. They've been clinical in front of goal. The outcome could have been different right now. And we have just 42 likes, people. We should be doing better than that. And 1,110 views in the back end. You can see that there too. Too many cooks hands spoils the cook. Well, how do you say that again? I can't quite remember. Let's see anything we have here. Enzo was sleeping on the bench when called to come on. I didn't notice that, really. If only we had 11 Gallagher's on the pitch, we could have finished ninth. Just go away, man. The more you talk like that, the more the gates, the wider the gates will be opening for you. We called for 5 wins from next 5. We have 2. We have 2 to go. We really need to fix our defense as soon as, especially left side, because most teams, they cook us from the left. Probably, I'm not sure what to say. The reason is, the reasons are right now, where Cowell at times he lacks a focus, ends up letting opposition play. Yep, I agree. Tiger, let's see what else we have here. What's your question? Does anybody have any questions there? Okay, there you go. He's responding right now. Let me ask you this, Bobby, before I go back to Roger. Lapses in concentration, I think you could say that's what it is, really. Because I don't understand, or maybe you could argue also lack of proper communication, because it just seemed as if Thiago Silva and the Sassi wasn't sure who should be covering that, where the area where we considered that second goal from. Bobby, how do you solve lapses in concentration? Is this something you could say up to the manager, or do you think it's just the players not not concentrating? In my opinion, I'd say the players, but let's hear you.
Yeah, it's almost a bit of both. Lapses in concentration, lack of integration. There are so many things that are a work in progress. Quite clearly, there needs to be better defensive rehearsals. The inability to consistently clear balls, or even when we're under pressure and the defense is having to clear balls, they don't look comfortable. You look at some of these so-called lesser teams, and you keep hoofing balls into their area and they're heading it out and heading it out, and you just think to yourself, well, they could do this all afternoon. Whereas with Chelsea, you think, oh
Mhm.
goodness, sooner or later, something's going to happen. And that all comes from lack of rehearsals. Maybe personnel, maybe it is, the rumors are right. Maybe we should be looking for a centre back. People talk of Chalobah, but I don't think Chalobah is the saviour. I think personally that Chalobah has too many injury problems. He doesn't play back-to-back games, which is a problem, as with Wesley Fofana. So getting a physical, tall, strong centre back, it doesn't sound like a bad idea at the moment. Will Desasi and Badiashile improve? Possibly, possibly. But it's an all-round thing and something that the manager has to work on. He has to. It must be part of what they're doing in the training ground, rehearsing defensive solidity, because at the moment it's not secure at all.
Do you think, gentlemen, that possibly, I'm just throwing this out there, possibly reverting to a back three, do you think for this season, do you think this will fix our defensive woes?
But Sir
No.
Poch won't do that. He's very stubborn in his tactics, right? So
I mean,
he-
didn't
No, I
he
know
do
that.
that?
Yeah,
It could if you have two good sixes that are good at reading the game. Because in
I mean,
the three at the
yeah.
back approach, the wing backs, what they do mainly in the offensive area. And so you can say that, and in some cases, actually, you start wingers in the wing back area in a three at the back structure. Because I get it, people say it's a defensive approach. It's not really. But here's where in a three at the back structure, where especially when you have wingers in the wing back positions, you need two sixes that are able to read the game very well and ensure that the three defenders in behind
Coach,
they were
it doesn't.
protected. Yeah.
Coach, it doesn't have to be a defensive formation. It doesn't have to be a 3-4-3.
No, it doesn't
We
have
can
to be, but
employ
people
what
once you
City
say
do.
three at the back, people say it's defensive.
But coach,
Not
do you
minding the
think? Do you,
application.
Sure,
do you think
but,
when?
but if you look at, sorry, just 1 second. If you look at City, they employ a 3-2-4-1. So,
But
yeah,
it's
so
Pep.
people,
just
people
curious.
always conflate those. When I think Pepper said it himself, Poch even said it. The formation before the game starts isn't necessarily what you see on the pitch.
Yeah.
And
No,
like
indeed,
what
it's
you-
fluid. I agree.
Yeah. Like what you said, Pep plays with a back three. He plays the defenders.
Sometimes back two, actually, right?
Yeah. So the
And
fullbacks
Pep
become
is
the
that coach
midfielders.
that does
Yeah,
experiment
let's
on
let's
field
let's
like
let
anyone.
Eric drop. Go ahead, Eric.
Yeah. So Pep, okay, fair enough. Yes, like you're saying, Pep is the kind of coach who you don't really argue with what he does. He's a genius. He can make things work. But I'm not really too fussed about formations. I'm more concerned about maybe the roles, what players are supposed to do. Because I know earlier on people were saying, oh, it's actually a back four. We've always played a back four. But it was a weird formation we played earlier in the season. It was a sort of a back four, not really. But I don't think it's a formation thing. I think it's more of the players doing the jobs better. So, in a back three, yes, it could be better because, say whatever he wants. I don't think it's a defensive formation, but the truth is you play with more defenders in a back three, right? So that is the reason why people say it's more defensive. But I don't think having extra defenders is what we need. We need to evolve how we play, without having to rely on the extra cover or the extra center back. That's what I think we need to be changing. It's less about who is playing where. Well, it's actually more about who is playing where than if it's two midfielders, three midfielders. I just think regardless of what the formation is, we've seen many times when we played a back three and we still had problems defensively. So, under Tuchel, earlier on was fantastic. We were conceding so few goals. All of a sudden, everything just went to, everything devolved into just chaos. We considered so many goals. So, I don't know, man. Maybe it's the solution for now. But personally, I don't want to see a back three. I'm just hoping that we can just be better with the back four than we were before. But I know what you're
And
saying.
chances are, if we switch now, we start. It will be a learning process again for the players. I don't know, but go ahead, Eric. Are you still speaking? Were you still speaking?
Yeah,
Sorry.
no, I'm pretty much done. I know I know I sort of like bust your bubble there, but I know what you're saying, but I just think the players need to be better, and the coaching needs to be better than what it is now. That's
But the reason why
yeah.
I say this is because you look at obviously with the exception of Thiago, this centre back position requires experience. You look at most, shall we say, top defenses in the Premier League and virtually all leagues, they have probably a median average age of about 27, 28 plus. We have Disasi 25, we have Silva 39, but you look at Badiashile, you look at Colwell, these are in
And
their
Silva is
early
departing.
20s. Sorry?
And Silva is going, right? He's not extending his contract.
You're looking at a very youthful collection of centre backs, and when you put that into consideration, this is an area of the field that I believe requires experience, generally speaking, because you can overcome any physical inadequacies by being able to read the game, like a Silva, for instance. And I feel this lack of experience is costing us. Now, maybe in 2 seasons' time, that we will be exemplary. But right now, I believe it's costing us this lack of experience in this specific area of the pitch. And I think it's a telltale sign. The fact that we are missing assignments, that we're not negating crosses, etc. Just the basics. I feel that maybe with an extra centre back, this could overcome. I understand your concern, but that third centre back, when we have position, can come into midfield, a la Manchester City.
Right.
That's what they
That's true.
employ. But I was just throwing it out there. I'm not for it, but I just thought it'd be food for thought.
Yeah, but Man City, like
so,
we were
but
saying,
you're
have
right.
Sorry, yeah, just very
Because-
quickly.
Go ahead.
Man City have the coaching.
Yeah, please,
right?
go ahead.
So that's just the obvious thing to always point out, and it's annoying, but Man City have Pep, and Pep is a really good coach. So it's just a little bit different with the way they're able to do things. But
Yeah.
please go ahead.
Go ahead, Tiger. You were saying something, Roger. Please figure out another question, please.
No,
yeah.
I was just reaffirming what Roger was saying. I personally think what he's saying is actually true, and the ownership is also thinking on those lines, because we were recently linked with Leverkusen's Jonathan Tah, who is like 27 years old. So, but we are also linked with Diomende, who is fairly young, and Pau Cubarsí from Barca, who is also fairly young. So I don't know, but yeah, experience. We need experience. I always say in all the live streams I am, or whenever I comment anywhere, I personally think we should give Thiago Silva some responsibility, if not extend his contract or give him a rolling contract, because he's a very integral part of that defense. And I have seen so many games when Thiago Silva has almost saved our defense line. So
He was
that
exemplary
experience is
today.
needed.
Here's something I want to say quickly before I forget, given what you just said. You said you personally think we should give Thiago Silva more responsibility, right?
Yeah.
If
The
he
young man.
waits for us to give him more responsibility, then we shouldn't give it to him. He's been in the game. He has the pedigree that when he speaks, even the manager will listen. To me, I don't think he needs to be given any responsibility. He has to, on his own, do it. He's that experience, in my opinion, but I could be wrong. But I get your point. It doesn't have to be spoken for him to know. Sometimes, if you're an adult in certain situations, people will come into that room, even though you weren't given the responsibility to take care of kids. Somebody will come in there and say, "Who was here? You were here. What happened? Why weren't you able to do something to stop it from happening?"
Coach.
Because they see you as the adult there. So I don't think it doesn't need to be defined
Coach.
before he understands he needs to lead by example. If he speaks, the players will listen. If they don't, the manager will catch that, and you'll be in trouble for not listening to him. But go ahead with what you were saying.
Coach, so yeah. So no, very humbly, I would like to correct. By responsibilities, I meant not the on-field responsibilities, but more like, if he's going to Saudi, maybe ask him to stay back and help in the coaching staff or something like that.
Oh,
In
okay,
that
there you
kind, I was
go.
saying, yeah.
So
To be
apologies for
involved
I'm
with the
into
Chelsea
tapping.
team.
That's why I probably quickly thought I was onside, but that was offside. Go ahead.
Never,
Yeah, that
coach.
was offside. Not at all. It's okay. It's okay. We have Jackson
Go
in our
ahead,
team.
Tiger. Much love, brother.
Not
Al-
much love,
Also,
much love. Same
also,
for you.
there's one question that no one has brought up yet. Why don't we consider playing with a 4-4-3? Seriously, guys. Really?
What?
Todd Bowley, please come from Real ID.
Oh my goodness! And I was paying attention. What serious question is Roger
Mr. Bowley
asking?
has joined us finally. Coach,
I think
you have made
Roger needs an early retirement from football.
I thought a 4-4-4 was too much.
Go ahead, Tiger. You were still speaking, weren't you? Sorry.
No. So I was just addressing that, and I agree. We need experience, but here's what my problem is. This and I may sound a bit off from the general opinion on this panel, which is okay. I personally think this ownership and these sporting directors are at a very big fault. They don't like experience. I don't know why they don't like experience. I think they're building something like a Leipzig or a Salzburg, where you purchase players for young and then sell them for profit afterwards. That's their kind of model, and that's perfectly my opinion. People may disagree. Uh, uh, and are they going to change in the winter window and bring some experience? I think from a football perspective, they should, because that will go a long way in, making us a team which can actually seek and compete for top places and top leagues of the world. Because I personally think this midfield would have been a lot better if we would have someone like, with the same kind of money we paid for Caicedo, Enzo, Lavia. If we would have got someone like experienced guy in the midfield, this midfield would have been more responsible, more commanding, and we could have, a kind of Enzo, a kind of Lavia alongside them, who can be guided or taught. But clearly, this ownership has its own model, and I respect the model. I also like the model at first, but I have my serious doubts right now. We can chat about the model some other day, as the coach said in one of the streams. But coming on to the point of defense, and do we need a centre back? I guess if you're not extending Thiago Silva's contract, which we are not, we seriously need someone. Will he be as influential as Thiago Silva is? I don't think so. But we really need someone in defense. If we are going to bring a Pau Cubarsí from Barca or from a Diomande from Sporting CP, I don't really think so that's going to work, because we already have lack of experience. And this defense will get cooked if we don't have some experienced guy. So yeah, I agree with Roger right there. And you asked one question, coach, that what needs to be, what can coach solve
just one thing
immediately?
from you think the manager needs to address?
This would come as very dull, but I see holes in every part of the play. So I can't really point out anything. I personally think the midfield for me, because I have my biases too. Everyone, I guess, on the panel must have some players that they don't listen anything against. Would have had some players, if not in the current lot. So for me, it's Enzo and Mudryk. I don't like to listen, any kind of, even if someone is speaking that, what Enzo didn't do, I would have my defenses ready for Enzo. I have that bias for these two players. I personally think Poch needs to solve the midfield on priority basis. Yes, we are leaky and shaky in defense, but we somehow manage. I guess from the past few games, we have been good. Today we did very, we were very weak in defense. We conceded. We couldn't hold on to the lead we had. But I personally think the midfield is a bigger problem, and a midfield is also a problem. If you have seen that equalizer chance that Luton had, coach, that Enzo mistake, that when Enzo went up, and when Thiago Silva actually raised, because he was like, why you went up, and left a big void in the midfield, and then the ball was just passing by. I personally feel that if the midfield is not sorted at the priority, we'll be conceding even a lot more, and we'll be scoring less, because midfield, as you're all more experienced than me in football, you have watched ball. Midfield creates chances, and midfields, stops the opposition chances. It's that's why it's called midfield. That's why it's called the engine of the team. And currently, in our case, it's not working. And as soon as you put out Gallagher from it, I don't see this midfield, working well under Poch. Poch doesn't know how to work a midfield of these kind, who has players who are a lot technical, not faster. He has been with players who are, very fast, very physical, maybe not that technical. And this midfield which we have, the Caicedo, the Enzo, the Lavia, is not really fast apart from Caicedo or Lavia, but is very technical. They have a lot of vision, they have a lot of skill, they have a lot of world-class potential, but might not necessarily what Poch needs in that space. And seeing how Poch is powerless in the window, seeing his interview, seeing the strategy of the owners in the last 2 windows, he won't be getting his players. If he says that I want,
he's actually said he'll have more power if you.
He's powerless in the window.
I don't think so, coach. He would get any players if he wants. Like
we'll find out. Go ahead.
If he's getting the players, it would be magical. I would be the most delighted person on planet.
Why do you think he's Why do you think he's powerless in the window?
Okay. I'll try to summarize it. It's a long answer. I personally think these sporting directors, and I would like to point out the sporting directors, these sporting directors don't like anyone who has a lot of authority that surpasses them. They and this is the same reason why Christopher Wivel was thrown out of the club. This is my conspiracy theory. You guys can believe and not believe.
But that's just your opinion.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because these guys, if these guys like a player, that player will be signed, and the manager has a lot of less inputs and a lot of less control in signing players. And this is not just with Poch. This was the case with Potter as well. So I don't think so Poch will get his signing. And a big testament to that fact would be Gallagher being sold in the window. So if he's being sold, be very clear that Poch has no power in the window, because Poch cannot let Gallagher go if he has 1% of power in the management. Gallagher is the what I can say, oxygen to the whole system which Poch plays. The whole sprint up, overload the other half system, the whole pressing system, gegenpress system he plays. He's the lifeline of the system, and if that guy is being sold, it's Poch being powerless written all over the walls. So I don't think so he's getting a type of midfielder he wants. What we'll do is maybe buy some experience, or maybe, as I said one day, that we are actually scouting Bastoni from Inter a lot. So maybe we are getting that. All these kind of players are very technical, with a very good ceiling, world-class midfielders, but not necessarily those kind of midfielders who press a lot or who win the second balls a lot. So as coach said, we will get a lot of good number 6, world-class number 6, but will Poch use those number 6? Because he's much more in using those higher 10s in the midfield. So yeah, that's a problem. So I personally think midfield is a problem, coach.
Yeah. Do we have 2 Rogers there? Roger went out and wanted to come back in, but that's quickly. I wanted to say, Eric, what do you make of this comment on the screen? And Bobby, if anytime you want to come in, you're an OG here. One of our senior panelists here. You can come in whenever you want to. Eric, this a comment on the screen, and thank you, Tiger, for that, which says, I'm tired of this high-risk, slow build-up from the back. Do we really have the players to play like that? Whatever happens to our counter-attack, which actually worked for us today, to an extent, in my opinion, our counter-attack, CFC and United used to have the best counters. Everybody does it. It's not haram, nothing haram about countering the attack from your position. But let's say you, Eric, I'd leave that question for you. It's Q&A time. Drop your questions so we can address them and round off as soon as we can. Eric, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to comment on that later.
Okay, go ahead, Bobby. Go ahead.
No,
after
Eric, please.
Okay, I'll just very quickly talk about. I disagree with this parts of these comments, because I think that we have been a counter-attacking team I can think of a few moments where we've scored goals from the counter, and we've actually been good at that. It started when we started scoring goals, not that long ago. If you look at some of the games, I think we scored 4 goals back to back. So if you look at both of those games, we scored at least 2 counter-attacking goals. So we have done that, maybe not as often as we would like, but I'm not pretending like we don't have a slow build-up. Pochettino said himself we play the ball too slowly, and I think it's a lot to do with the chemistry of the team. We're just not really used to each other's. It seems like the players don't really understand how they want to play. So that's part of it. And then, creating angles for passes is also very good. You have to keep moving and creating space. So these are some of the fundamental things that if a team is not doing it, then you realize, it's obvious that the chemistry is not there. So that is something we can improve on. But yes, we definitely try to counter where we can. And I don't think we're really a possession heavy team the way maybe we used to be under Sarri, for example. So that's all I'll say with that, to be honest.
Sarri was one manager we took for granted. We didn't know what we have at the time. And he himself probably was pushed out because he sensed the fans didn't like him. But we're not here to talk
He's
about
the
that.
best manager right now.
Yep. Bobby, go ahead. Let's hear you. And this would have been a perfect team for him.
Exactly, because he plays
ahead, Bobby.
systems, not players.
Yeah, I have to actually agree with that statement about this slow build up from the back. I don't think we have the rehearsal or indeed the players to do that. And what that does for us is invite pressure. I was very glad to see that Petrovic actually took the initiative to stop some of that. He did that in the first half where he was playing long balls to Broja, who perhaps he should have done better, but it's been a long time since we've seen anybody that can hold up balls at all. So I was appreciating the fact that he had a point man to do that, because I can't remember seeing that since the likes of Giroud. So that slow build up from the back is punishing us. It is pointless. We struggle to get out of the back, but for a few exceptional instances where players show excessive quality, people like Gusto and so on, often we find the ball comes back. Now, Poch has started that right from pre-season. There was a game in pre-season that he frustrated the life out of us because he deliberately told the players to play it short, play it small, and play it from the back. Now, doing that in the Premier League, unless you have the experience and the quality of people like City and so on, I think is pointless. It shouldn't be a major ploy. And that was part of our problem today. We were trying that against a team whose back was up, who, to my surprise, most people aren't mentioning the fact that the referee was giving them everything. And at one point giving us nothing. The referee encouraged their resurgence, and they continued to use their physicality, cheat a bit with some brutality, and that's how they are at home. Now, in a way, I was glad we experienced that. I wanted these youngsters to have to deal with that, because that's something Chelsea are going to have to cope with during the course of a season, going away to these sort of teams, the referee against you, their physicality against you. We kind of coped, but it was disappointing, I have to say, after going 3-0 up, that we buckled a bit. But, it's all part of the learning. It really is. But, as far as that comment is concerned, slow build up from the back. No, I think we need to do something else for now.
And avoid
Maybe
playing
fast build up from the back.
avoid the slow build up. Go ahead. Anybody else
Absolutely.
want to ask something?
Can I say something quickly?
Yeah, quickly, Jude. Go ahead. You said quickly, right? How many seconds?
So first is to add to Tiger's point, Poch is not that kind of coach that has any idea on any player he wants. I've listened to a podcast on Matt Law. Matt Law is someone who has covered Chelsea and Tottenham for a very long time, and it was in that podcast he opened up and said he's an Aston Villa fan. That a lot of people always think he's a Chelsea fan.
Yeah, bro.
But he
Don't
has
take
covered.
everything that Matler says.
Hold on. But he
Just
said,
let him talk, yeah.
hold on. When somebody says something and you see the pointers that this is fact. Okay, for example, if Poch is somebody who has an idea that, okay, yeah, I have a player I want, he won't be telling you stuff like it's up to the team to keep Gallagher. Top coaches don't say that. If you want a player, you want them, they'll keep him for you. So Matlow said he's not like your Conte or your Mourinho that will authoritatively say, I want this guy. That he works with what he's giving to him. That's his pedigree from the beginning of his career till date. That's what, and the evidences are clear. You see it. So I think that when it comes to recruitment, I think there should be improvement in we getting experienced player now, because now that Matlow also said Todd Bowley has backed out, that he's more in USA now facing his business. That Ekbali is the one working with the sporting directors. I think Ekbali being an Arab man, I think I see him like somebody who likes to spend, and I think he believes more in experience. And I think that's why the news has been out there that there's a disagreement between him and Todd Bowley over the choice of players when it comes to signing. It seems he is more of wanting experience, while Bowley is the one that is more of a project. So he wants more experience to come in and cushion the project players that we have now. So I think with that, I'm hoping that the next recruitment, we should be seeing more experienced guys that can add something instantly, and not the ones that will have to wait over time. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we'll see, bro. We'll see in the winter window. Let's see.
All right, let's give those in the chat the microphone. Breaking news to the panel. Everton 16 points. Even with 10 points added, it would be 26 points in total. The Chelsea's would be
Sean Dyche
maybe Bowley is using Chelsea as a pilot project, and the real project is Sporting Lisbon. Maybe, if that's what you believe. They played international as well. For me, they are experienced. I agree. I think they will bring experience because we could get into Europe, and other teams will drop points. 1 point below Newcastle United. We just have to keep winning. I think we'll sign some experienced players, but that doesn't change their plans for the project, in my opinion. Poch can solve all our problems with one move. All he has to do is walk across the training field and into Bowley's office and hand him his resignation. Wow. I'm going to go back to, you know what? You getting there. That place, the gate is even more open right now. We need some capable capable hands to dictate the tempo of the game from the midfield, which is something we've talked about 1,000 times today. And I said, for me, what's been apparent to me is that we just cannot control games. But today's game is different. We're not going to blame anything on the midfield, given what the goalkeeper did and which he did for a reason, and it worked. Especially in games like today, somebody in the midfield of the pitch who has his capability. That's what I was saying, Roger. I can quite remember, if you watch that video, when I said one of the problems we have is lack of our ability to control the games. You said that's not really the game. That's not really the issue. But you eventually came back to saying the same thing. So we can agree. Brentford are in trouble. It's been downhill for them for a while now. I disagree with you. Chelsea need to get in the top 7, and they don't want to sack Pochettino. Gallagher is sold, and they will get Fulham's midfielder Paulinho. If they do that, then you're not just a historian. You're probably more like a transfer source. So if this coach Poch cannot work to the strength of the players, he has them in the wrong coach. Pretty simple. Okay, and that's another argument there. And having a conversation with Constantine Dante, send your IQ so that the panel can answer. Yep, send your questions. Send your questions so we can answer them one by one according to Tiger. If I say the most difficult one, I will throw it at him. Go ahead, Tabeho.
Funny thing about our fan base, we have seen from start of the season, we've been struggling with low blogs, Now we're able to beat Luton today. They still can't play. So I don't know, man. What should we
Damned if
do?
you do. You're
We
damned
see,
if you don't.
I think we should just lose all games. Why not?
I think so too. And to very quickly share the link to the show you have 8 p.m. UK time. Share the panelist links link on the group so that people other people that have made will be available at the time to join you. I would not give Poch the keys to CFC; he will lose them. Wow. Bobby is correct. As soon as a referee smells Chelsea blood, they try their best to handle any advantage to the opposition. The ref was bald, too, so you expected that.
Everyone goes Anthony Taylor against us.
But here's the thing. That is something you and Bobby can agree on. All the time, the referees are always against us.
Everyone gets Anthony Taylor's souls in them.
Yeah, exactly. That's the 49th time coach used the H word. One more and a half century. I think you're getting there too. No, coach, I'm not going to hell. I'm going to stick around and play every 90 minutes like Gallagher. Okay.
You're not going to hell, but Anthony Taylor surely is.
Go ahead, Tiger. You were saying something.
I mean, Anthony Taylor surely is going to hell. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Luton was playing high line. They didn't defend deep as much, in my opinion. We did beat low block, and Poch has to stop being stubborn about his tactics. Own goal to Beho there from okay. They were pressing high instance. Okay. Let's come to Roger. Do you have any other question, or do you want any player you want us to look at their number?
Yeah. Listen, I'm intrigued with Jackson. And I forgot the gentleman's name that was on the panel, but he's a dichotomy by definition. I do agree with the fact that, first of all, number 9's number one priority is to score goals, but his responsibility is also to link up play. I find him exceptionally frustrating. However,
everyone does.
The last few games, especially, I think he's played outstandingly well with regards to A, his flick-ons, and B, his link-up play. Also, his intelligent runs that absolutely open up holes where, for instance, Mudryk could run into or Nkunku could run into. So he's I think his football IQ for someone so young, don't forget he's 22, I believe. He's exceptionally young. Mm-hmm. And yet I feel his head on his shoulders is beyond his years on this earth. So I honestly don't believe he's ready to play for a top team in the Premier League because of his lack of experience. But there's only one way to gain that experience, and that's to play. So, listen, the fact that he has been missing these sitters, and they've been some very poor misses, I must admit. But his positive attributes, I feel, equal out those misses to a certain extent, and in some cases surpass them because of his play that he adds. Now, if his other attributes were not as good, then I would say that he shouldn't be in our team. But I believe he's got a lot to offer. I just feel that it's going to click for him one day. But and the proof was that in preseason, when he was so composed, he has lacked composure this season in the regular season. And I'm hoping he can, shall we say, work his way out of that. Would you say
his form has been up and down?
Yeah, and that's indicative of youth, isn't it? And lack of experience in this league. Don't forget, he's a new country, new league, new team, new coach, etc. Not making excuses, I'm just being honest. But I find him exceptionally frustrating. But then when I watch the game over again, each and every time, I'm actually happy with the way he plays and integrates and brings in other players into the fold. So on one hand, I find him, God, I want to throw the phone at the TV screen sometimes, and not the other. other, I have a great big smile on my face because he does things exceptionally well that others don't. So, true dichotomy by definition.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
Yeah.
no, please
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I just wanted to say something very quickly. Jackson is. I agree with everything Roger just said about Jackson. Honestly, he pretty much summed it up. And maybe to a lesser extent, you could say the same thing about a few other players. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I think we're in a situation where, like Todd Bowley himself said, it's a very long-term project. So we might have to wait for a while for some of these players to really fulfill their potential. And that's not what we're used to. But if we can speed up the process, that would be nice, get a few experienced players, remind these players that are here that this is, we're still Chelsea, still a big club. Pochettino said so himself after the Crystal Palace game. So I hope he's reminding them. But, it's a long-term project, hopefully not too long-term, next season after next, we need to be really pushing up the table and looking like a big club again. So that's all I'll say.
Yeah. Here. Can I just add something very quickly, Coach? With what the panelists have said about the midfield, I do not disagree with anything. I, however, do feel that prioritizing the defense, especially the defensive line, I believe it would behoove us. It would be in our best interest to do so. I get and understand and fully appreciate that, the midfield is the engine room in the vehicle, but honestly, I believe that in time that they will overcome that. But defensively, we can't say that though. Where this needs to be addressed more than anything, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, anybody else on the panel has anything else to add? Please to speak or forever hold your peace.
Really?
I had this this got very interesting with Roger saying Jackson is a dichotomy. I agree. I mean, and I would like to highlight, Coach, a very interesting point that what, when we signed Jackson, and as you say all the time that Jackson is not a striker. He was never a striker. He's learning to be a striker. Jackson is not your Victor Gyökeres of Sporting Lisbon, who is banging goals. Jackson was not your who else? Ansu Fati or some youngsters who is doing very good in a club, and your sporting directors or your scouts get an eye or read about him and want to bring him in. Jackson had a fairly bad season in Villarreal B team. Then he was loaned out, I guess. Then he came back. Then he had again a bad run of form. Then he has this one run of form where he scores 11 goals back to back, and then Chelsea picks him up and brings him to Stamford Bridge. So
probably signed him as the striker, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he does not come from that very good track record of scoring a lot of goals for whatever teams he has played for. He has had this pattern of not performing and then performing, not performing and then performing, much like Sterling had. But the benefit of doubt is he's still very young, still has very few top flight games under his hat, so he can change this pattern and not be another Sterling for us. That would be good. But the problem with Jackson is, I personally think the difference between a top striker is you can have many people and many players as a goal scoring threat in your team, but a striker needs to be a goal scorer, not a goal scoring threat. A goal threat and a goal scorer is a very different term. So Jackson is a goal scoring threat, not a goal scorer, and that's the problem we are facing. So
a distinction,
I personally,
indeed.
So there's a distinction. I personally think both Jackson should stay. We should bring in someone like Osimhen. I always shout for Osimhen. I don't want anyone like Guirassy. I don't want anyone like Victor Gyökeres. I don't want anyone else. Just give 130 million pounds to Napoli. Don't just. And we have had our fair share of bad track record of negotiating with that freaky owner of Napoli. I don't want to go in that business again with those guys are those guys are way bad than Rui Costa was. So just pay the release clause. Just pay the release clause. Get Osimhen. Osimhen wants to come to Chelsea, and then play Jackson like Pep plays Alvarez with Haaland. Give him minutes. Give him minutes in the EFL Cup. Give him minutes off the bench. Play him with a striker who has done it in the top leagues of the world, who has done it fairly regularly in the Napoli, who has won the Scudetto. That will breed confidence. That will breed agility. That will breed instinct in Jackson. That's the right way to go. If you keep on playing Jackson in the top of the line, the whole of Twitter, the whole of Chelsea fan base will keep on eating him alive on each and every mistake he does every day. And he would just deteriorate in self-confidence and self-belief. And that's
he
not good
can
for any
learn.
player.
He can learn
Yeah.
from a veteran. The tricks of the trade.
Yeah, I agree. But personally, I guess it would be a very good thing if we pair him with a top striker. And for Broja, people were asking in chat too with Roger and Bobby and the panel and the coach, what about Broja? I just want to put in my view. As much as I don't want to say it as a Chelsea fan, I don't see Broja doing it for a club. I mean, with a very heavy heart, I don't see him being, the player he was before the injury. I've seen enough.
You don't
I
think it's
guess
too early?
I may be jumping the gun, sir. I'm a youngster, so I do that often. But I think I have seen enough of Broja, and he's not exciting me. You said something about Jackson. Jackson is doing fairly well on the metrics of which are linking, playing well, doing that 1-2s, dropping deep, holding the ball. Broja is not able to do that too. Broja is lacking even in that. I don't know if it's rustiness.
He does have positive attributes though, like his heading, his speed. I think he's more technical in some regards than Jackson. Listen, I think they're completely different profile of players, by the way.
Yeah, true. True, but I personally think he either needs a loan.
Yes, I agree.
But that's a chance if he plays every now and then, he will come good. We'll start seeing that Broja. Broja is more of a traditional striker, and Jackson is more of a winger. Yeah.
Don't sleep on Broja yet. Don't sleep on him.
And just quickly, if you don't mind, please, Tobeho, if you're listening, I've redirected this show. The moment it ends, it will redirect people to your show. Although we don't have too many people watching right now, but people will be taken to your channel. And please, if you get redirected to Tobeho's live show, be sure, please just drop a like there. It will go a long way. Just quickly, people. Roger, that's for you on the screen. But no need. You've answered that. Please don't take time. He already says time. After watching lots of games today, I see lots of mistakes by the other Premier League clubs. It's not just us. Okay, Jackson took a lot rakes down his Achilles, an ankle today with VAR intervention. He's really got a bit up today. But boy, he was good today, in my opinion. But I get it. He's that sort of player. You don't know what to get from him. But just play him. Don't play him as a number 9. Then he will do something good for you. Then when you take the time to look at it, you know that's a good player there. Let's see. Todd Bowley was worried about relegation this season at first with our youngsters, but 28 points now. We'll take pressure off of him and the manager. You think, Coach, you're coming? I'm not coming with you guys. You guys are going alone. And here's the link to Tobeho's show scheduled for 8 p.m. UK time. Please go drop a like for him on that. Let's help him garner more likes. And excellent panelists there. And hopefully I will have time. I'm doing some maintenance work in my house. And if I don't follow up, the insurance will not get it done quickly.
Coach, what did you break now?
No, I didn't break anything. I had some water damage.
Yeah, right.
I had some water damage. I'm serious, man. Please go drop a like for him there. Jackson has been thrown in the fire, and this board have been stubborn over getting Alan Shearer. Has advised Chelsea that he isn't a striker. I think we're learning that. The manager probably knows that. That's a fact. Finally, the board are starting to listen.
Coach,
okay, I guess that's what you want to say.
And
That's
by the way.
Sorry, go ahead, Roger.
It's not his fault, by the way.
No,
Yeah,
it's not his
exactly.
fault. Yeah, it's not his fault. And look now,
Also,
he's not playing mainly as a striker, and he's doing even better.
yeah. Also,
Yes.
also about Broya, coach, if I can.
Yeah,
A
just
quick
quickly a minute
point.
or two. Let's hear Eric, so
Yeah,
we
no,
can
no.
call it a
Yeah,
day.
half a minute, half a minute. The point Roger raised is very fine. Are we jumping on the gun and we should not sleep on Broya? One panel member said, I'm just saying, the likes of Broya, the likes of Jackson, they don't have a lot of time with the amount of youngster signings we have done in that striker department. If we bring a Top Gun man like a Victor Osimhen, or say who else was there, anyone who above 75-80 million in winter, if he comes, he's starting. Jackson and Broya are not starting. And then the second striker is Jackson, if I assume so. So Broya is getting even less minutes. So this is their time to show what they can show. After this season, after 1.5 season later, Kendry Pace and Dato Fofana, all those youngsters would be in line to claim that next number 9 top of the line role. So these guys have not a fairly big duration of opportunity. They won't get enough time to prove themselves, so they need to clinch their chances when they get that. So that's what my point was here.
Right. Thank you so much for that, Tiger. Eric, you wanted to say something. Let's hear you.
Yes, I'm just going to very briefly say, don't sleep on Broya. I know he had a bad injury, and he may still be recovering from it, but I wouldn't sell him yet. I have to keep him for at least one more season.
I agree.
And he's very talented. He has a lot of potential. With the way things are, maybe traditionally Chelsea wouldn't really have time for someone like Broya, but with the way the team is set up at the moment, we have a little bit of time for him. I think we can keep him for a little bit longer. So that's all I'll say. Just don't be so hasty with Broya.
But I
Just
feel
give him
because of fiscal issues, I think if we do hypothetically go after an Osimhen, then I think because of his pure net profit, I think he's probably on the chopping block.
Oh yeah, I
Right.
forgot that part.
I wanted to talk about Osimhen as well. Osimhen, if you're listening, don't come to Chelsea.
Oh my man, what are you doing?
Can you elaborate?
If Osimhen was smart, he would avoid Chelsea. Because
why is that?
Just because you might think you're an amazing striker, you might think you're great, but this is a different level. The pressure is not the same. Napoli, sorry to say it, Napoli is not a big club, so the step up is very real.
Yeah, go on, please.
Yeah, so I won't go too deep into my personal reasons for it.
No, please.
Okay.
You should.
Yeah, so okay. So
you should, sir. You should.
Coach may know where I'm coming from with this, but I'm basically concerned that if Osimhen flops, it's gonna look very bad. So he hasn't been great for the national team. I'm personally, what was the word? I have an affiliation with him, right? Let's just leave it there.
But that's true for any striker, isn't it? You bring in a Victor Gyökeres for 100 million.
That's true.
Same thing.
You're right. But this is different because this is personal.
Romelu Lukaku for 170 million. Look how that turned out. Any top striker would
that's the
demand
point.
million.
That's the point.
Yeah, I mean,
so it's risk versus reward. I get it. But I'm just saying, for me, this is a selfish desire of mine.
And
for him not to.
So quite humbly, I would like to disagree. I don't know if there is any other striker than Haaland that even matches or comes close to Victor Osimhen right now in the world.
Okay, all I'm saying is, if he comes, I'll support him. I'll back him 100%.
I think Eric's argument is not about his ability or his class or his level as a striker, in my opinion. But that's by the way. The BBQ is almost ready. The fire is good, coach. Yeah. What is Broya talented at? The injury excuse is not valid. Sorry. I'm not with you on this one. I think Broya, that's a good player in him. The injury he's had hasn't helped. I think he will come good again, but it would take time. And time that you say we shouldn't mention, I'm mentioning again. Roger, were you saying something?
Actually, I to be honest with you, A, time is not on our side, and B, do you honestly, everyone, including you, coach, do you think we actually go after Osimhen? And B, do we get him?
I'm not too sure what we're gonna do.
No, I
But
don't think
if
we'll
you
get him.
wanna,
What?
if
What?
you wanna,
I didn't
if you wanna
heard. What?
interpret the fact that he liked the post of
Can
a
you repeat
Chelsea
what you
fan, and
just said?
somebody in the chat told
You
us
just said it.
that the person in question is Osimhen's friend, where the person said, "Happy birthday, Osimhen! Please come and save us at Chelsea." Something to that effect, and Osimhen liked it with praying hands. Now that could mean thank you for the birthday wish.
Coach.
That could
But
mean I'm coming. I'm coming.
okay, sorry,
That
sorry.
could
Yeah,
mean that we're already speaking with his camp, and he's
exactly.
praying that it goes through. So I'm not sure how to interpret that, and it happened. That's not a joke. It's not made up. He liked the post with praying hands, but there's a chance because this internet softwares are very lazy. I've seen occasions where I just read the first thing, and your brain will tell you got it. That's everything you need to know about this post, and you respond without even reading the rest. So the chance Osimhen saw that and probably responded to the happy birthday without paying attention to the part that says, please come and save us at Chelsea. You can interpret it, but that chance, we never know. So I'm not too sure what happens, really. Go ahead, Tiger.
Yeah, on that tweet, coach, I personally think if I would have been a professionally contracted player to Napoli, their star who has just won them Scudetto and just signed a new contract, I couldn't give a bigger hint, that I'm comfortable in moving places than doing that. I don't think so. Osimhen is in any sort of position professionally to say anything or drop a hint any bigger than what he actually did. That message seriously mentioned, "Come and rescue us, come and rescue Chelsea." And it's not just a single incident, as you have also mentioned on this very stream, that his friends are very big Chelsea supporters. On the John Obi Mikel podcast, he was also found saying that he only had two favorite clubs, Manchester United and Chelsea. John Obi Mikel also jokingly said that I'll be your broker in the winter market. So I personally think this story has serious legs, and this is not just a fluke. This is not just a fluke. This is not just a rumor anymore. And I personally feel that I just hope these owners don't mess up this deal, because they can mess up this deal and sign a young Victor Gyorakis, which would be again a project in wait of becoming world class, when we can have a world class Victor Osimhen right with us for just 113 million. Why I'm saying just 113 million? Because we paid the same price or more for Caicedo, and look what he's doing. So, I mean, yeah.
All right. Anybody else on the panel has anything else to say before we call it a day?
Yeah, in the table that's live right now, we're technically 4 points behind seventh place, a certain Manchester United, who are currently playing Nottingham Forest. And as you know, I support two teams, Chelsea and whoever's playing Manchester United. So come on, Forest.
And that's not broad at
Are you
all.
a Liverpool fan? So from the past life.
So come on, Forest.
All right. Let's see.
LA.
This guy has the standards. Not okay. I see. Eric, sort of anti-Chelsea comment is that no, he doesn't have to agree with you to be a Chelsea fan. Even I had issues. I've told you reasons why. I've mentioned about the fact that we don't have the luxury of losing two of our top best players to AFCON in the attacking area. If we sign Osimhen now, you lose Jackson every time AFCON comes around, and lose Osimhen too. And somebody mentioned we used to lose about there's a time we had Mikel, we had Solomon Kalou, we had
3 or 4 players,
Michael Essien. I think who again? Let's just stick with those three. We'd lose them and still be one of the best teams in the league, but we don't have that luxury right now. Look at the absence of Nkunku, how much we suffer. The absence of Reece James, how much we suffer. Absence of even Ben Chilwell, how much we suffer. So I argue that I would like to sign, to have two African players that every time AFCON comes around, would lose them. Had we been, you could say the ship isn't stable yet. had the ship been stable, if we sign Osimhen and still have Jackson, I say yes, okay, lose him and we'll still be fine. But we don't have the luxury to lose a single player right now and be doing well. That's just my point. So he doesn't have to sign Osimhen for him to be a good Chelsea fan. He's actually a Nigerian, and I'm quite sure he would want the club to sign Osimhen, but he has to be as objective as possible. In my opinion. Other questions I asked was one I talked about the manager's approach, and I realized Osimhen actually is good at dropping deep and participating in the play, and is still very young, will adapt to, you can say, a fluid approach. And I asked the question, here's the thing. Osimhen has played all his life as a striker where nearly everything again, whatever team he plays for, every time they get to the final third, nearly all the goal scoring chances, you can say at least 50% of the goal scoring chances are always channeled through him. If he comes to Chelsea, where the approach is much different, he's not going to score that much, and chances are he gets frustrated, and us, the fans, will turn against him because we paid a lot of money for him. Those are my arguments. That's not me saying I don't want you can say somebody
Coach,
from my birth country
changed,
to
right?
represent the club. I want that to happen. Just 1 second. If Jackson can score, if some of our chances, then he would score 20 goals. He should be at least in, let's say, 13 goals right now. He doesn't want a world-class striker. He must have gotten hypnotized by Poch. Let's be respectful, people. Let's see what else we have here. We had average strikers. We would be in the top four. Here's I think Eric is fine. And that's just like me. I don't take anything personal on the panel, and I haven't seen anything personal there. It's all right for me. Say whatever you want to me, as long as you don't abuse my mom or my family, or don't come say anything personal. I'm fine. Even when sometimes you'd be personal, I still ignore you. It depends on what you say. After what happened today, we are definitely going in for a striker. We'll find out what the club does. If we needed to buy, we will have to sell. Read this. I read that somewhere to myself from journalist Simon. I think Osimhen would take a Gallagher sell. Chalobah and others will find out. And Mohamed Cisse, it's a young time. We will come stronger. Chelsea is having, we have a good team. I guess that's what you're trying to say there. It's a young team. Okay. Okay. Well, we'll come stronger. Chelsea is having a good team. The same thing, but probably a bit of adjustment there. Young time, from young time to young team. One behind Newcastle and two behind Brighton. We must continue. Yeah, we just need to win every game. To be better situated on the table or in the table, whatever. I'm not an English teacher. The team continues to disagree with XG. I like this day better. Yeah, we've had better XG and not win. Today we had the inferior XG, and we've had better XGs and lost games, but this case we have an inferior XG to our opponent, and we won. And could have won actually in a much better way. But I understand that. How's the son now, Coach? Way better. I think he's not going through anything right now. He's recovered fully since a few days ago. Thank you, Roger. Yeah, thank you. Anybody else has anything else to say so we can call it a day?
Yeah.
Can I just... sorry, go ahead. Yeah, I was just going to say that comment was funny. That was a funny comment. And I think, Coach, you've pretty much spoken for me. So... there's not much to say, not much else to say about Osimhen. If he comes, like I say, I'll back him, I'll support him. But yeah, please go ahead, Roger.
You have your concerns, and you have every right to. Roger, go ahead. You were saying something.
Yeah, if I don't speak to anyone before then, I wish everyone a happy new year and be safe, everybody.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah, if we don't speak before the new year, Roger, happy new year to you, brother. I appreciate you so much. Likewise, and I'll send you a private message because that's a video recording. I don't know whether you have the time for us to do. And too many other people. I want to start that series, scouting for Chelsea once more again. So, yep. I want to say thank you to those on the panel. I haven't had the time to add your information in the description section, but I'll try. Thank you to Roger. Thank you to Uncle Justice who was here. Thank you to Bobby. Thank you to a lot of people. Mr. Jude, my bro. Thank you to Tiger. I appreciate you. To all of you. And thank you to Rick Blue, my bro. Thank you to Roger Dodger, chairman of the Goalkeepers Union, and whatever name that comes to mind. Thank you, Rich Money Makers. Thank you to Constantine Dante. And thank you to the beautiful game, the guy that will lead a lot of people to the H-word area, not me. I appreciate you all. If I missed your name, apologies. I'm only human. See you guys next time. God bless us all. And cheers.
Great panel, Coach. Thank you.
Cheers. Big up
excellent
the
showing.
panel.
Great
Big up,
panel. Yep.
coach.
Big up to you, brother.